Good evening. We're going to get started. Melissa, can you give us the land acknowledgement?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. The West Hollywood City Council acknowledges that the land on which we gather and that is currently known as the City of West Hollywood is the occupied, unceded, seized territory of the Gabrielino Tongva and Gabrielino Kizh peoples.
And we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. And I see our former mayor, Steve Martin, in the audience. I'm going to ask him to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight.
He has the mind of an elementary school person.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now, Melissa, roll call.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Byers.
Here.
Councilmember Erickson. Councilmember Meister.
Here.
Vice Mayor Heng.
Here.
Mayor Hellman.
Here.
And we have a quorum.
All right, now let's turn to the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes from staff this evening?
There are no changes from staff this evening. Thank you.
Okay, are there any changes from council or, yes, Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Was wondering, I'll start from the beginning. Is there D1, the algorithmic rental price fixing item under legislative?
Is there any objection to moving that to consent? Okay, no objection. D1 will be moved to consent.
Is there any objection about the amendment? I guess that requires direction of the amendment recommendation 1 or 2, but right, if I'm reading the item right. So, but it was the ice rink one, item E1. I don't know if that required, there's two different.
I think there's some direction that they want on that item.
Great. Is there agreement on E2, the delegation about World Pride?
The World Pride delegation?
We have the meeting decision to make in that.
Yeah, we have some decisions on that.
The Business Retention Programs restaurant, the update?
We should hear that, I think.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Okay, so.
The seismic retrofit update.
Well, there's an option there.
Okay. I didn't know if we all could just say what we want to do and then have it move to consent, but we can have it heard. What about the e-bike voucher program?
Okay. Great. E2 will go to consent.
Wonderful.
Can we actually keep that? I have some comments to make, and it'd be better to keep it. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Any other proposed changes?
F3.
I have some comments on that. So
It's fine.
I think we moved one item to consent, so that's better than nothing. Any other changes? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended. It's been moved and seconded, and can we call the roll?
Councilmember Meister.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. The motion passes 5-0.
All right, so we now have an agenda. Thank you, everyone. Are there any Levine Act disclosures tonight?
No.
No.
No. Okay. So we'll now turn to adjournment motions. And Councilmember Meister, I understand you have one.
I do. Thank you, Mayor. I would like to request that we adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of James F. Mills, former WehoVille editor and longtime West Hollywood journalist who passed away at the age of 64. James was a dedicated voice in local journalism, covering the issues and stories that shaped the West Hollywood community with insight and care. He will be remembered for his commitment to informing the public and his care for people. Our thoughts are with his friends, colleagues, and all of those who had the pleasure of knowing him. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Councilmember Byers.
Yes, thank you. I want to request that we adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of the 8 children who were killed in what has become the deadliest mass shooting in this country since January 2024. This incident took place in Shreveport, Louisiana, and has been identified as a domestic violence incident in its nature. But there were 8 children who were killed as part of this horrible incident. Jayla Elkins, who's age 3, Shayla Elkins, age 5, Kayla Pugh, age 6, Layla Pugh, age 7, Markedon Pugh, age 10, Soraya Snow, age 11, Kadarion Snow, age 6, and Braylon Snow, age 5. Just a moment of silence thinking about these children and the horror, and just really thinking about the way that mass gun violence, especially those incidents that are tied to domestic violence incidents, become so extreme. Thank you all so much for the moment.
Mayor, I have.
And Councilmember Erickson, you have an adjournment as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I just got notification that my dear friend Heather Cornyn's grandfather died. She is a WeHo resident. I will get the name to the city clerk upon completion of the meeting, as well as Lisa J. DeFord, who died in Ripon, Wisconsin, and was a grandmother to my friend and mentee Preston Benton, and we send him my condolences. I also would just like to say James Mills was an incredible member of our community. He will be missed. I remember him running around with his camera and his notepad all the time, and he was always a great asset to what was once the local journalism of this town. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have some special presentations tonight. I'm going to turn to Vice Mayor Hang, who's going to start with our first presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I would like to present a proclamation in recognition of Armenian History Month, which is celebrated every April. Whereas the City of West Hollywood proudly recognizes and celebrates the work of the Armenian Relief Society of Western USA in support of the Armenian community, and whereas during Armenian History Month, this acknowledgement highlights the Armenian Relief Society's long-standing commitment to cultural preservation, community empowerment, and humanitarian efforts, and whereas the Los Angeles County is home to the largest Armenian diaspora outside of Armenia, making the work of the Armenian Relief Society especially impactful. And whereas April holds deep historical significance for Armenians, marking the anniversary of the Armenian Genocide, a tragedy that claimed 1.5 million Armenian lives at the hands of the Ottoman Empire in 1915. And whereas the Armenian Relief Society continues to honor the legacy of survivors through education, advocacy, and programs that uplift Armenian families here in Los Angeles County and worldwide, and whereas the City of West Hollywood extends its sincere gratitude to the Armenian Relief Society for its dedication to these humanitarian efforts and for the work it does to enrich West Hollywood and beyond. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of West Hollywood hereby recognizes the Armenian Relief Society of Western USA for its commitment to cultural preservation, community empowerment, and humanitarian service during Armenian History Month. At this time, I would like to invite representatives from the Armenian Relief Society of the Western USA to the dais to receive this proclamation and take a photo with myself and my colleagues.
That's fine. We're fine.
Thank you, Mayor John Haleman and City Council members for this incredible honor. On behalf of the Armenian Relief Society, I am deeply grateful to receive this proclamation recognizing April as History Month. This month is not just a time for remembrance, it is a call to remember, to honor the stories that have too often gone untold, and to keep pushing for a more just and inclusive future. Armenian Relief Society is an international nonprofit organization which was established 115 years ago, serving communities worldwide with over 14,000 members, and they are all women members. Our organization is dedicated to offering education, social services, family services, culture, and humanitarian aid to those in need. Today, we are here to represent the Western region, which has 26 chapters with over 1,000 members. And here with me, standing next to me, are our Hollywood chapter members, executive members. And Hollywood chapter was established almost 100 years ago, by the way. Pardon me? 107 years. 107 years. And this is all with the power of Armenian women. And with me is a board member. By the way, I'm a Western Region Vice Chair, board member, and this is Haigo Barsamian. I'm Vicky Marachelian, Haigo Barsamian as a board member. Thank you for standing with us, for recognizing the contributions of Armenian Relief Society, and for helping ensure that this history is not only remembered, but actively celebrated and built upon. We are honored to accept this proclamation and look forward to continuing this work together with all of you. I just want to mention that we marked the 111-year anniversary of the Armenian genocide. As in the proclamation, it states that it was done by, I don't like to be politically wrong, by Ottoman Empire back in 1915. And we are here standing strong as Armenian community, helping with our American people all over the world and wherever we are. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. We have two other presentations tonight. April is National Volunteer Month, and we have some very special people who volunteer with our Sheriff's Department. These individuals support deputies, they support the professional staff through a whole range of services, including traffic control, community engagement, they provide administrative assistance, they work with us on numerous public safety initiatives, and these individuals contribute countless hours of service, enabling the Sheriff's Department to focus on law enforcement while still delivering high-quality service. These volunteers also foster great relationships between law enforcement and the community. So on behalf of the council, it is my honor to recognize all of the volunteers at the West Hollywood Sheriff's Station, thank them for their outstanding service, their dedication, their commitment, and expressing the gratitude and the appreciation of our whole community. So please join me in thanking these wonderful volunteers who help serve the community through the Sheriff's Department. And if my colleagues will join me, we're going to come down and present to these fine volunteers. I see Mr. Best is here.
right, perfect. Perfect. Here we go. And two more. Boom. Okay.
Around this side. Okay. Yeah, he's a good speaker. Yeah. Did I make the print big enough? Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor, council members, City Attorney, City Manager. On behalf of my teammates, I want all of you to know how deeply all of us appreciates this thoughtful recognition from you. As you already said, volunteers are a crucial part of the department's community-based policing initiatives. Who else knows the city as well as the residents? Each of us lives and works in West Hollywood and in the immediate area, and a couple of us even grew up here. We each have a desire to ensure the community continues to be a safe and desirable place to live. Although we're civilians, not sworn peace officers, we work side by side with our West Hollywood deputies and professional staff in a number of ways. We staff the station's public counter with friendly faces. We utilize our knowledge of the city and city hall services to better assist citizens in resolving concerns. Our volunteers on patrol team travels throughout the city's residential and business districts, reporting anything out of the ordinary to dispatchers via radio. And team members are also empowered to issue disabled parking citations. We staff key positions for the marathon, Pride, including the Dyke March, the AIDS Walk, the Halloween Carnival, and we provide support for the Rose Bowl. And as the mayor mentioned, volunteers assist in station clerical tasks, including organizing and filing department documents. Perhaps more mundane sounding, we ferry department vehicles for smog checks and repairs, and because every vehicle carries a fire extinguisher, we periodically deliver those to a central location for required inspection and recertification. These and many more tasks allow our deputies to devote more of their time to patrolling West Hollywood. We keep detailed records of time donated by our team members, and our individual lifetime totals range from a few hundred hours for our newest volunteers to nearly 4,000 for the most experienced on the team. In closing, I want to say briefly, thank you once again for noticing us and noticing all that we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do. We really appreciate it. The next presentation we have, for those of you who were here when we did the transition, when I was sworn in as mayor, I indicated that I would be donating my mayoral salary to various nonprofits that serve the community. And this month I made a donation to Essentia, and I wanted to recognize Essentia for their outstanding contributions to our community. We're joined tonight by Dr. Laura Duncan, the Executive Director of Essentia, and I'm going to call her up in a moment, but I want to highlight the work that Essentia does. It is an organization that serves West Hollywood, but it also serves Glendale, Northeast Los Angeles, East Hollywood, and it serves a population of homeless individuals. It's currently serving approximately 1,200 individuals, connecting people to critical resources and support. Essentia in West Hollywood not only provides outreach, but it manages the Holloway Interim Housing Program, which provides 20 private rooms, each equipped with a bed, a locker, a bathroom, provides 3 meals a day to the residents, computer access, comprehensive wraparound services to get people from their current status to transition to permanent housing and a life of stability. At this point, I would like to ask Laura to come up so that we can recognize Essentia for their unwavering dedication to strengthening people in the community, to serving them, very difficult population, and helping them transition to permanent shelter and stability. So please join me in thanking Essentia and congratulating Laura for all of the work the organization is doing.
Wow, this is huge and beautiful. Thank you so much to the council, City Council, for this proclamation and certificate of recognition, and also to Mayor Heilman for the donation to Essentia, very generous. As you mentioned, we are comprehensive services and support for people experiencing chronic homelessness to transition into stable permanent housing. And I'm speaking to the entire room here, even though my back's to most of you, but you can see me over there. I think, yeah. So really, like Mayor Hammond's become personally involved, I would like to let you all know that if you're interested, we could sure use the support. We've been actually serving the city of West Hollywood since 2016, but we just opened the Holloway with city or became the operator of the Holloway that opened in October of 2024. But we have been here 10 years. Knocking it out of the park, I might add. So the kinds of things we're looking for are in-kind donations. There's a card up front when you came in that has a QR code on it. It gives you all the access and information about how you can volunteer, what kinds of things we're looking for, how you can be an advocate and get involved. And of course, as a nonprofit, we're always looking for financial support. And I do want to make a point to mention that if you're really interested in being on a board, we are definitely always looking for, and have had, board members from the city of West Hollywood to properly represent this aspect of Essentia. So with that being said, again, I would like to say thank you very much for this and the time to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Laura.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
also, I want to say thank you for honoring Essentia, but Laura is also taking the show on the road, and she will be at the Contract Cities AMS conference on a panel about how other cities can replicate the model that we did in West Hollywood. So thank you ahead of time for coming, Laura. I'm really looking forward to you talking to 84 cities in May.
Great. Thank you. Are there any other presentations tonight? I don't believe there are, so we can now move to public comment. We value your comment, but we can only take action on things that are on our agenda tonight. So if you make comment and we don't respond, that's why. But we do sometimes take action at a subsequent meeting, but we appreciate your comment. And do we have any speakers on Zoom tonight?
We do not.
All right, so we'll turn to our speakers in chambers. Our first speaker is Tom DeMille, who is speaking on item B6. Is Tom still here? I don't see Tom, so we'll move on to John Monas, to be followed by Andrew Solomon. John Monas. Thank you, John. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it.
No, you did fine. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. I wanted to comment on the issue from last week, and that was the proposed Sunset Music Festival. And listening to the comments, I felt it was not a good time to do it, and it doesn't give the promoter enough time to arrange a proper music festival, especially with the money involved. So I wanted to, voice my concerns over that. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew Solomon to be followed by Emily Warren and Autumn Pedranti.
Hi, good evening, council members. My name is Andrew Solomon. I'm a West Hollywood resident, and I'm also a parent. I wanted to speak tonight in strong support of Anthony Flynn and David Miller Robinson. Based on everything that we've seen and we've read, they were walking home with their family with a newborn, and they were targeted, and they were drawn into an explosive situation, and their family was exploited by trolls just for clicks. As a parent, it really sticks with me. I understand the urge to want to protect your family, especially having a baby boy there. And suddenly you're just dealing with these sort of hostile trolls who are attacking your family unit. And it's hard for me to really understand how David is now facing criminal charges from this whole thing while there are people who came into our community to attack them. I know that you can't do anything as the city council about it, but it's a public platform, and I want to take this time to say to the district attorney's office, please, please drop all criminal charges. The wrong people were arrested that evening. And if there is anyone in the public that's listening, please consider making a donation to their GoFundMe page. They have a long road in front of them with costly legal and court expenses. West Hollywood is a safe place. It's a beacon for gay people and especially for gay families. People come here because they want to feel safe and they want to be able to raise their kids in a safe, comfortable community of people that support them. So I hope that you all will support them tonight, and I hope that we can see real action from the DA. Thanks.
Thank you. Emily Warren and Autumn Pedranti to be followed by Steve Martin.
Good evening, Mayor Harriman, Vice Mayor Hang, and council members. My name is Autumn Pedranti, and I'm a master's in social work student at USC who works at a school in the West Hollywood area.
Good afternoon, Mayor Heilman, Vice Mayor Hang, and the esteemed council members. My name is Emily Warren. I am also a master's in social work student at USC and colleague to Ms. Pedranti. We are here tonight to advocate for scaling up peer-to-peer mental health programs in K-12 schools in the West Hollywood area. We know that students listen to their peers and feel more comfortable opening up compared to adults and staff members. Having a peer-to-peer program implemented in schools isn't something to just check off, but they are also very cost-effective. Early prevention reduces various community issues that people experience later in life. Equipping our students to talk about their mental health and reducing the stigma around the topic can make West Hollywood foster a community of care for years to come. As people who have worked firsthand with these students, sometimes reaching out to an adult is just not an option, but the need to talk about mental health is left unaddressed. A few statistics: suicide is currently the #1 cause of death in children ages 10 to 14. Student-led mental health programs showed a 15% decrease in suicide attempts, and 86% improvement in mental health knowledge with students was resulted from these student mental health programs.
We are asking the council to consider allocating funding for peer-to-peer mental health program training in schools. As social workers, we hope already implemented school-based peer mental health programs are not just temporary, but a necessary and permanent facet in K-12 schools. We're aware of a finance and budget subcommittee meeting on April 30th and urge you to consider continuing care for our West Hollywood youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Martin to be followed by Scott Schmidt and then Yola Dore.
Steve Martin, West Hollywood. And I just want to second everything that Andrew Solomon eloquently stated. And the only thing that I would add is, given that President Trump felt that he could pardon the insurrectionists of January 6th, I don't know why Gavin Newsom couldn't do a preemptive pardon to people who've been victim of essentially a gay bashing in a gay city. I think one of the things that happened in Boys Town and what's happened recently on the east side, because I also feel fortunate that we're not adjourning tonight for one of the 2 people who were shot in my neighborhood, is that the people of West Hollywood and those of us who work in Neighborhood Watch are both discouraged and don't necessarily find the city credible when it comes to law enforcement. I know that our hands are tied because of budget constraints with the Sheriff's Department, but we're still feeling the impacts of the defunding that the City Council enacted back in 2022. The fact that we didn't fully refund all the deputy positions, but also the fact that several of you opposed Prop 36, supported the reelection of George Gascon, doesn't give us the confidence that you care about what goes on in our neighborhoods. Because we're trying to have a safe community, and for decades, we had a very safe community because we had a partnership, not an adversarial relationship. And even when we were fighting to get Bruce Boland reinstated to the Sheriff's Department, we still managed to be civil. And hopefully we can restore that working relationship.
Thank you. Scott Schmidt, to be followed by Yola Dore.
Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Scott Schmidt, resident of West Hollywood, Executive Director of Emerald Village, West Hollywood, and joined tonight by Dabby Duck, our mascot. It's 420 Day in West Hollywood. It's been an amazing day all around town. Someone was asking me earlier why there were lines outside of the woods and off the charts. And this is cannabis's version of Black Friday. And it's a great celebration of plant-based medicine and legal plant-based medicine, which started right here in West Hollywood. And it's a legacy for which those of you who have been involved should be proud of, because we are really making an impact on a global scale. Emerald Village has been very busy in the last 10 days. First, I want to thank all of you for coming to the LA County Bar Association event at the Sunset Social Club. Your collective presence there, I think, may have been the first time an entire legislative body was in a cannabis lounge at the same time. And that alone sends a message to the world about West Hollywood and its leadership, and really the role that we are staking in cannabis that looks a lot like in the 90s when we were the shining city on the hill for LGBT youth. We are that for people that are fighting for legal cannabis from Spain to Germany to Malawi, folks that we met over the past week. In the past week, we have hosted walking tours in Amsterdam and Berlin. We participated at the International Cannabis Business Conference as the host of the Smoking Lounge. I gave a speech called Come Out for Cannabis at the University of the Basque Country. And folks are very excited about what we're doing. West Hollywood really is, it has been leaders in this, and you'll hear more later, but people are excited to learn more about what we're doing and how we can be the model for how fun cannabis can be normal and accepted and fit in and work with the community. So thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Yola Dore, to be followed by Anita Goswami.
Good evening, Council. Yola Dore, 30-plus year resident of the city. I have something different to say, and it's very serious. Pride is usually a time we celebrate every year, all of us, and we're so proud. But this year, instead of that, we have to worry about random shooters. We also, the residents of this city, have to worry about the expenditures you have on tonight's agenda for an ice rink. Huge amount of money. I think the Sheriff's Department could use that money to help put on more personnel, get them the tools they need to catch these random shooters. How can we celebrate Pride? Are we going to let our visitors know that we have random shooters in the midst? Come on, let's get proud about this city. Let's make our WeHo ours. Fund the Sheriff's Department. Give them what they need. Forget about the ice rink another time. Thanks.
Thank you, Yola. Anita Goswami, to be followed by Kevin Geary, and then Alexander Nana.
Hi there. Anita Goswami, another longtime resident of the city of West Hollywood. On April 6th in these chambers, there was, the city was celebrating train rides that won't be here for decades. The city agreed that it could take many months to figure out WeHo's funding that could stretch out for 75 years. And on that same day, April 6th, in these same chambers, certain council members shut down any conversation about SB 79 impacts that could be here in 71 days. On April 6th, I saw one council member direct two others to vote no on the recommendation to study the SB 79 impact, specifically a transit-oriented development alternative plan. Both Beverly Hills and City of LA recognize they need time to figure out the SB 79 impacts since they initiated TODAPs. Why are certain members so opposed to having time for us all to figure out these impacts? Because neither SB 79 nor a TODAP affect the Metro K line. To whom do they owe their allegiance? Is it to developers who are anxiously awaiting, because we get calls all the time, anxiously awaiting that SB 79 July 1st deadline? Outside interests anxiously awaiting to systematically and deliberately destroy our neighborhoods, displace our residents and businesses, leaving us with vacant lots? Or is it the people of this tiny and could again be very mighty city? Council, your hands are not tied. I urge the council to recommend that staff prepare a TODAP. Voting for a TODAP is a vote for the residents and the businesses who have worked so hard to get here and to stay here. Thank you so much for your attention to this. The housing study session today had excellent information that could be incorporated, especially looking at the commercial corridors. And I'd be happy to help staff draft that and facilitate community input. We need to be working together for a city, and there's a deadline for TODAP. And I think you should be thinking about that. Your hands are not tied. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Geary, to be followed by Alexander Nana, and then Ali Shahidi.
Hello there. I'm Kevin Geary. I'm a long-term resident of the city as well as a business owner. And I'm also here to talk about SB 79. But I kind of wish I could be facing this direction because what I'm realizing is a lot of people in West Hollywood don't know about SB 79. And part of the reason is that the city council has made no effort to tell the voters what's coming and what is happening. The city of Los Angeles made an SB 79 map showing the redevelopment zones. The county of Los Angeles did too. West Hollywood did not. So I took the city of Los Angeles map, which had a West Hollywood-shaped hole in it, and I made the map with Photoshop. If anybody wants an SB 79 redevelopment map, I've got them right here. And for the people that don't know, the Rainbow District is going to go away. Parts of Sunset Strip will go away. Parts of the entire Fairfax District will go away. Boys Town will not survive 8-story buildings being built within a 200-foot radius of that stop, and 5-story buildings within a half-mile radius. You guys need to do a better job of telling the voters what's happening. Even better, how about canceling the special tax district that you guys used to attract this gerrymandered zigzag metro that's going to end up destroying this entire city starting July 1st? If you withdraw that tax incentive, this alignment goes away immediately. And Metro will consider the shortest alignment, which is La Brea, which is an area that's already been redeveloped with 5- and 6-story buildings. That is where the subway should be. SB 79 flipped the script in a David Lynch-style plot twist, and all of you are pretending that nothing is happening. If anybody wants the map, I've got a bunch of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Alexander Nana, to be followed by Ali Shahidi.
Good evening. I'm going to be following a case presented by Mr. Solomon. I'm here in order to speak on behalf of two friends of mine, Mr. Anthony Boleyn and David Miller. They had been the target of a hate crime, but not just any hate crime, something that was carefully organized and despicably organized. These people, David and Anthony, just for you to know, They have helped me through the years. They have offered me their help anytime that they wanted, even without me asking for help. And they have never, ever asked for anything in return, because that's the kind of people that they are. When I was 20 years old, I lived in Argentina. I was kidnapped by the military government and taken to a concentration camp because I was gay. I saw things in there that defied human comprehension, horrors that go beyond what any of you can actually think or imagine. And you may think that that's the kind of things that happen in a third world country, or that's the kind of things that don't happen to people like us. Well, I'm sorry, I have bad news for all of you. America has been a very stable democracy for over 200 years, and that's the problem. We have grown complacent. We have accepted, unfortunately, that we have politicians that are above the law, and for whom the social contract is something that applies to lower people, people that are not privileged like they are. So please, do something against what happened to my friends. Bring the responsibles to a court of judge, and make them pay, make them feel the full weight of the law, because if we don't protect ourselves now, time will show you that things are going to get worse. And when they get out of control and we want to protect ourselves, it's going to be too late, because the organization that is going to be pressuring on us is going to have grown so powerful that we won't have any ways to defend ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ali Shahidi, to be followed by Kathy Blavis.
Ali Shahidi, West Hollywood. Good evening, Chelsea, Laura, John, Danny, and John. Feel free to make eye contact and not do something on your computer as you were disrespecting the last two speakers. Okay, thank you. What motivates your decisions when you cast your votes on matters that shape our lives? There are three possibilities. First is that you're guided by political aspiration, that your votes are not your own, but rather a product of consultants and developers whispering in your ears, telling what positions you should take and what language to use. If that is what drives you, then I must tell you plainly, you are not serving us. The second is that you're guided by your own personal opinions, your own ideology. If that is the case, then I must remind you that you were not elected to be philosophers or moral authorities. You were elected to represent a community of people with diverse perspectives, needs, and voices. Your personal opinions are yours to hold, but they're not yours to impose. The third possibility, and the one that I wish were true, is that you're guided by what is best for this community, that you listen to the people who live here, who raise their families here, who pay their taxes here. But let us be honest with what we have seen. Time and time again, this council has followed the advice of consultants. Last meeting, you had a choice. You could have instructed the city to consider TODAP, and you chose not to. You closed the doors before the conversation even began. I'm asking you tonight to remember why you ran for the office. Was it to serve your neighbors, or was it to follow a consultant script? People are watching, and they will remember in November.
Thank you. Kathy Blavis, to be followed by Jonathan Wilson. We're at the 20 minutes, but we only have a few more speakers, so I'm going to take all of them.
Good evening, council members, Mayor Heilman, Vice Mayor Hang. I want to pick up on what has been said previously, especially by the last gentleman. At the last council meeting, Mayor Heilman suggested an agenda item to bring back SB 79 before the community. And that was voted down by the majority being Councilmember Byers, Councilmember Erickson, and Vice Mayor Hang. And my question is, why? If it's such a great idea, if it's so powerful and so meaningful, why did you shut us out? Now, you may be thinking, well, the community knew or they should have known, but I'm here to tell you, just like all of you, I listen to what other people are saying. I listen to the community, not just in my own neighborhood, but all over the city. There are so many people that never heard of SB 79, certainly never felt they had the opportunity to speak out about it. And Councilman Erickson, you look very concerned with what I'm saying. I'm giving you my facts, not misinformation. I just feel that you've lost touch with the concept of community engagement. This is the place, this is the best place for community engagement. And the council majority at the last meeting shut us out completely. And whether you realize it or not, we are feeling that across the board with many decisions that are made by a 3-2 vote. I'm just giving you my truth and many truth from many, many members of the community.
Thank you, Kathy. Jonathan Wilson to be followed by Bobby T. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I want to talk to you about a few things today. One, I want to say I do support having a toad app. With that said, keep in mind that we have a lot of ambiguity in the city already. We've had builders remedy, we've had SB 9, we have SB 35, we have developers that are not happy developing in our city, we have residents that aren't happy with developers in our city. No one's happy. How do we lessen that ambiguity? Part of that means operating with intention, which I heard all of you guys talk about in the last session that we had. So let's put some policy together around intentional development in this city. I came up with an initial thought process we might have where West Hollywood supports transit-focused housing or housing near transit, where we can actually focus on concentration where it best advances mobility, job access, urban design, and existing planning priorities. That's something that basically I think all 5 of you can get behind. The question is, what does that look like? So let's use that as a starting platform. Secondly, I want to say thank you to the economic development team for what they're going to do with the restaurants. I think that's a great idea to have the technical assistance program. I support that wholeheartedly. Third of all, I want to say that I stood before you 3 years ago and asked that we work on a technology implementation plan for the public safety suggestions at that time. I was worried that we would not be able to implement it effectively. The drone program is still not implemented, and part of that's because we're depending on our SMEs, our subject matter experts, to learn how to put together technology implementation plans. It's not fair to them. We need to focus on getting these things done. This is part of the reason why we have fights in the streets. We have people not being able to make reports to the sheriff's office. We're having quite a big effort right now with not having the right technology in place. And lastly, I want to say I stand with Anthony Volin and David Miller Robinson on their issue, and I'm being attacked. So thank you with that.
Thank you. Bobby Trendy to be followed by Brad Kiesler, and we have one more, Stephen Post.
Good evening, everyone. I love living here. I've lived here since 1991 with no complaints happily, until this past Thursday when one of our community members was attacked. His character was assassinated on the streets of Santa Monica and San Vicente, and I can't stand here and let this slide by and under the rug. He has been an ambassador, a great ambassador for the human race. He wants everyone to do well. He opens his home up for Thanksgiving for anyone or anything that wants to come to his home over in Kings Road, a property owner, which is very important to all of us. We all know that. These trolls came from Temecula. Can you believe that? Driving 100 miles in a car to come here and poke the bears. If they're going to do it to these two, you may or may not be next. What was the crime? My attorney would ask you. He was defending his baby of 3 months old. They didn't break any cameras. Those 4 that ganged up on them molested them of their freedom that night, and safety fell upon their cameras that would be used as weapons for clout chasing and clicks on the internet. That's how I see it. I would like to, if we could have more cameras like Air One does on every wall. You know they don't screw around there. You shoplift, you're gonna get arrested, just like in Beverly Hills. Can we get those little cameras like they have in Beverly Hills? That's how they caught the guy that took the watches at El Fornillo that day. They caught those 3. Maybe we can shave down on the bicyclist people and have more cameras if budgetary parameters will meet that. I thank you for your time, and Anthony Vulin, you have my time. I love you. Again, you are an excellent ambassador for the human race. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Brad Kiesler, to be followed by Stephen Post, and that's our last speaker under this session of public comment.
I'm Brad Kiesler, a resident of West Hollywood, and I want to thank you for what you brought our attention to, the last speaker. I'm speaking about SB 79, you might guess. I think that we're rushing through this a little too fast. I want to go back and see if we can just develop the main corridors and don't intrude on the interior neighborhoods. Maybe 10 years, 20 years in the future, but we can in the meantime build up the main corridors. And I like the idea of the longer subway route. That sort of makes sense to me. But yes, we're going a little too fast, and like someone else said, it's I think we missed the boat on informing the whole community about this issue. Because I'm sure if I got an offer on my house and I could build an 8-story building, and it's a lot of money from a developer in Culver City, I guess later. But I have a small house on each side of me and one in the back, and I don't think they'd be very happy. You know, shade and all that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Stephen Post.
Hi, thank you, Mayor, council members, staff. Stephen Post, resident of West Hollywood. I'm here similarly for the issue that Scott was talking about. Happy 420 for those that celebrate. I'm thankful that our city is a leader in the industry and really allows those businesses to thrive. I think we can continue to be doing advocacy at the state level and especially at the federal level. As some of you may know, I previously worked at an organization called Last Prisoner Project, which helps free those folks that are still incarcerated for cannabis. There's folks serving life sentences a few hours away down in Lompoc federal facilities. And so everything that the city can do, in addition to being a leader in the industry, I think anything we can do to be promoting the social justice side of that effort is definitely important as well. I want to thank you for the conversation around inclusionary housing and staff's research. I think anything that we can be doing to quicken the pace of building that mix of affordable and inclusionary housing across incomes is really important, and appreciate you moving the rental price fixing to consent. Lastly, just want to thank staff for hosting a great tree planting event this past Saturday to celebrate Earth Day, which is upcoming on this Wednesday. I was really appreciative of the WeHo Bike Co. that organized a ride from Plummer Park to that event as well. And because I won't be here later, that will also be plugging my support for the e-bike grant pilot program as somebody who commutes to work and to train stations via e-bikes. I think it's really important to be providing our residents a safe and viable low-cost option to get where they need to be going. So thank you for all that. Have a good night.
Thank you. We'll now turn to the city manager's report.
Mayor, I was getting texts during public comment, hence why I was looking at my phone, that there are several people trying to get into the Zoom. Is that true, Melissa? No? Okay. I'll tell them that they're doing it wrong, I guess.
Excuse me. All right. City manager? There's no one waiting in Zoom. Okay. Thank you.
For the second session. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, and members of the public. First of all, I'd like to begin by acknowledging recent events in West Hollywood over the past few days, which included shootings and fights. These events have caused real concern, fear, and distress among our residents, businesses, and visitors. As a compassionate and engaged community, we feel the impact of these incidents. They are unsettling and do not reflect who we are as a city. Please know that your concerns are heard. The City Council, my office, and our community safety team are working closely with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department as investigations continue. Additional patrols, such as our Sheriff's Entertainment Policing Team and security ambassadors, have been activated to help ensure safety in our business districts and our neighborhoods. Public safety remains our highest priority, and the city unequivocally denounces all forms of violence. We also recognize the emotional toll these incidents can take. Support is available for West Hollywood community members through Maple Counseling, which offers free services to those who live, work, or attend school in West Hollywood. Please contact our Human Services team at 323-848-6510 for details. Also, a full city statement was shared with the community last Wednesday and is available at weho.org/news and on city social media. The Sheriff's Station is regularly providing NIXL updates, and community members may sign up for NIXL alerts by texting a West Hollywood zip code to 888-777. If you have any information about recent incidents, we encourage you to contact the Sheriff's Department at 310-855-8850. As a city, we stand together and we remain committed to fostering a safe, respectful, and supportive environment for everyone. I also would like to share some news that the city has received. A regional park an open space district grant in the amount of $370,000 from the Los Angeles County for Plummer Park. These grant funds will be used to support the next phase of the Comprehensive Improvement Plan, community engagement, and master planning work. For any questions or additional information about this important project, please visit go.weho.org/Plummer Park Plan. And I also would like to share that this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., the city will be presenting its annual symposium on the built and natural environment as part of its Earth Month and Green Week activities. This year's theme is entitled Strategic Streetscapes, and it will explore innovative and sustainable urban design strategies to uplift, revitalize, and enhance city streets, sidewalks, alleys, and quasi-public spaces within dense urban environments. Again, the event will be this coming Saturday morning here in the City Council chambers. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. It is free and open to the public. Flyers are in the lobby. Community members are encouraged to register on Eventbrite to help with event planning, and we encourage all of you to attend. And Mayor, this concludes my report this evening.
Thank you. There were a number of comments about the incident involving Anthony Vulin, and I'm wondering if you can work with our public safety staff to determine whether it's appropriate for the city to send a letter to the DA's office. Obviously, we don't have all of the details, but based on the public comments, it may be appropriate for us to send a letter. Councilmember Erickson.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Two quick questions. For the drone program, the city isn't waiting for us to do anything, correct? We're waiting on the county and the commission to move forward with that, so we are, as a city, just waiting for the county, not any other information that was shared tonight?
Correct. We are just waiting for the green light from the county to proceed.
Wonderful. And in regards to our entertainment policing team, which has been activated, that's always been out on the street, whether they're in deputy clothes or plain clothes. They've been patrolling the streets because that was refunded back to being what it was 3 years ago now, or 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've been part of it, and, Danny Rivas is here if you'd like to hear more details about it. They're just, more actively engaged and, having a more of a visible presence in the Rainbow District.
But they're always there.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Great. Before we move to the consent calendar, I missed somebody in the public comment. Jarrett McCluskey was here and he had submitted a slip. I apologize that. Jarrett, do you want to come forward and speak now?
Sorry about that. Good evening. My name is Jared. I've been a resident of West Hollywood for about 5 years now. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the dog parks and dog situation. I'm sure you are all aware we have so many dogs here in West Hollywood, but my concern is that there's not enough spaces for them to exercise or whatever they need to do. And unfortunately, I think with that, we see a lot of dogs in more public spaces like restaurants and cafes. So I'm kind of trying to advocate for more spaces for dogs. I think in 2021, from my research, there was a approval for a dog park at Plummer Park, and that's somewhat near me, and I've been checking on that and the construction of that, and it was supposed to be done as of Q1 of this year, and it's now Q2, and I don't see any progress, and it's definitely not done. So definitely want to advocate for that, and then on top of that, I did notice that there will be 2 different parks, the small and the big side, and I have gone to the West Hollywood Dog Park, and there's not a lot of restrictions or enforcement of that rule. And I know as of last week or 2 weeks ago, there was a very, very violent attack on a very small 3-pound dog. If anyone's heard of this new law, Stoney's Law, that's trying to be put into place. So I wanted to advocate as well for more enforcement in the West Hollywood Dog Park and any dog parks in the neighborhood, because I'm a dog owner myself. My dog has been attacked at the West Hollywood Dog Park, and I never found justice for that. Thousands of dollars later, working to, help my dog out. So please consider that in the future, and thank you again for your time.
Yes, and Jarrett, Helen Collins is in the back. She's holding up her hand. She can give you an update on where we're at with Plummer Park. Thank you. All right, that completes.
Mayor, can I ask the city manager a question?
Oh, of course, Vice Mayor.
City manager, Pride's around the corner, and I was just inquiring when the Pride subcommittee will be meeting.
We have staff here from events, and I just asked them for the schedule. I know that I was notified that a meeting is taking place very soon. I'll get the date and provide that shortly.
We're in the middle of April, we're nearing May. And I think in past precedents, there was a meeting in February last year and March in the year before that, which gave this subcommittee ample time to discuss matters of Pride. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. All right, now we'll move to the consent calendar. The consent calendar is a series of routine items that we approve with a single motion. Our city clerk is going to give us an update on the fiscal impact of the consent calendar. And since we moved an ordinance onto the consent calendar, she also needs to read the title of that ordinance into the record. So I'm going to turn it over to Melissa.
Thank you, Mayor. The fiscal impact on tonight's consent calendar with the addition of item D1 is $10,000 in expenditures, $0 in revenue, and $0 in waived fee. Item D1 was the introduction of an ordinance on first reading, and that is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of West Hollywood, California, adding Chapter 9.22, Algorithmic Rental Price Fixing, to Title 9, Public Peace and Safety of the city's municipal code to prohibit the use, sale, and license of algorithmic rental price fixing and finding said action exempt from CEQA. And with that, there is a motion and a second to adopt tonight's consent calendar.
And it is approved. It's unanimously approved. Thank you. We'll now move, we do have 2 public hearings. We'll move to our first one. Before we do, Melissa, how was this public hearing noticed?
As required by law.
All right, and this is a public hearing that's necessitated by state law that requires us to hold a hearing to identify the vacancies that we have in the city, in City Hall in terms of our employees. And Raylyn, are you doing the report?
I am, yes.
Great, thank you.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I'm Raylyn Napper, the Human Resources Manager, and with me are Janet Jimenez, the Administrative Services Director, and Sienna Lung, the Human Resources Supervisor. This public hearing is the second annual for all of us. It's the result, as you mentioned, of a state law passed in 2024 that became effective in January 2025. Our presentation will briefly cover the legislative background and requirements of the law, and we'll present data and information on the status of vacancies and recruitment and retention efforts, which satisfies the obligations under the law.
I think you can make your presentation very brief.
Happy to,
I don't
Councilmember.
believe we have any public speakers on this item. Great.
We don't, because it's all good news.
Yeah.
All right, so I think you all remember the purpose of the law. We'll skip that. Jumping into the data, we're reporting on calendar year 2025, and this slide shows a snapshot of the vacancy rate at the end of the year. There were 271 budgeted regular status positions and 14 total vacancies, which gives us an overall vacancy rate of 5.17%. More than 2% lower than 2024. Moving on, this slide shows the vacancy information and the rate month by month throughout the year. Here you can see the vacancy rate ranges throughout the year from a high of 10.3 to a low of 5.2, with an average of 7.5%. You can also see the 9 net new positions at the start of the fiscal year that were added, which affected the rate. And generally, in public sector in California, a vacancy rate below 10% is considered acceptable, and 6% or below can be considered very healthy. This slide shows the vacancy rate by employee group as of the end of 2025. We have 4 employee groups, those represented by one of the city's 3 bargaining units, ACE, WeHome, and WEMA, and a non-represented group comprised of executives. And the vacancy rates range from 0 to 8.7% across the group. And you'll note that no group has 20% or more, triggering the additional reporting. Next slide. And since this is the second year, we can start to compare year over year. And you can see we ended in a better place than we started. And we're pretty proud of that, considering the number of vacancies nearly doubled at the start of the fiscal year. And that was no accident. And if you will indulge me, I'll detail a little bit of those efforts next. So starting with total vacancies, 55 arose throughout the year.
I don't think we need it. But
Okay.
I know that you did a lot to speed up the recruiting process, and we appreciate that. And I know that that took a major change in the way we were doing outreach and using LinkedIn, so we really appreciate that. Let me, if it's okay, let me see if my colleagues have any questions.
Okay.
No, as scintillating as the reading was, I think we're good with this. So we just need a motion to receive this report, correct?
Correct.
All right. There's been a motion and a second, and unanimously approved.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. We will now turn to our second public hearing, and we're going to be moving some things. All right. And Melissa is going to tell us that this public hearing was noticed according to the law, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
I knew that. And this is a request for a full motion animated billboard at 9039 Sunset, which I believe is the Keys establishment location. Okay. Do we have any speakers on this, Melissa?
We do not.
Okay.
Are there any disclosures from the council members?
I've been to the location.
Okay.
same representative's applicant that texted me about if I had any questions, of which I did not respond.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Nick, are you giving the report or?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Paul Caparassa, Senior Planner with our Sunset Arts and Advertising Program team, is here to give tonight's presentation, also joined by Jennifer Alkire, our Assistant Director.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor Heilman, Vice Mayor Hang, and members of the City Council. My name is Paul Caparassa, and I'm the Senior Planner for the Sunset Arts and Advertising Program. Item C2 before you is for the Stand project located at 9039 Sunset Boulevard. The Stand would create a new two-sided, horizontally oriented, full-motion animated billboard and a new one-sided curved static digital billboard and public realm enhancements. Per Section 3B of the Sunset Offsite Signage Policy, the project qualifies as an alternative project as it exceeds the standards outlined in the policy while providing exceptional design and extraordinary public benefits to the city through an extraordinary public benefit payment and capital expense recovery payment that combined total $1 million. The project was submitted as part of round 1.5 of the SAP Design Excellence Screening process and was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission at its meeting on November 20th, 2025, with the Commission members voting 4-2 with 1 recusal for the requested development agreement and creative billboard permits. Note that as the project site has a previously executed development agreement, it is already located within the development agreement overlay zone, and therefore there is no request for that. The project would remove existing rooftop traditional vinyl billboards and marquee screens along the building's Sunset Boulevard frontage. The existing off-site signage would be replaced with a combined total of 2,663 square feet of full-motion animated and static digital signage, comprised of the full-motion animated east and west faces measuring 960 square feet each, and a static digital south face measuring 743 square feet. The project would measure just under 71 feet from grade, a reduction of approximately 3 feet from the height of the existing billboard structure. Public realm enhancements are proposed in the form of a facade story that creates an educational exhibit narrating the project's approach to sustainability and renewable construction practices. As part of their recommendation for approval of the project, the Planning Commission requested that the plaques, the primary feature of the project's facade story, be made larger to improve readability. As such, the project plans, included as attachment F to the staff report, have been revised to increase the width of each plaque from 4 inches to 8 inches. The images on slide 4 display details on the sustainable construction practices employed by the project during construction, as well as a view of the facade story from the public realm along Sunset Boulevard. The applicant will provide further details on the facade story during their presentation. The associated development agreement would replace the existing development agreement executed in 2013 and provide the city with the following public benefits: a revenue share of 24.85% of the estimated net annual revenue of the full motion animated signs with a 3% annual escalator, a revenue share of 20% of the estimated net annual revenue of the static digital sign with a 3% annual escalator, a 1% for art payment of 1% of the estimated gross annual revenue of the static digital sign, also with a 3% annual escalator, a capital expense or CapEx credit of $500,000 split equally from years 1 through 5, as well as a subsequent CapEx recovery payment for the same amount to be paid and split equally from years 11 through 15, an alternative project extraordinary public benefit payment of $500,000 split years 4 through 10, with payment starting at $65,000 in year 4, then increasing to $70,000 for years 5 through 7, and then a final increase to $75,000 for years 8 through 10. In year 1, the total estimated public benefit from the revenue share would be approximately $1.78 million. Over the term of the development agreement, the estimated public benefits would total approximately $90.35 million, including just over $89 million in revenue share payments, the CapEx recovery payment, the extraordinary public benefits payment, and the 1% for art payment, less the CapEx credit. Staff would like to note on the record that a supplemental memorandum was provided to the council for consideration ahead of tonight's meeting and posted to the agenda online. This memorandum identifies, corrects, and/or clarifies clerical and contractual details in the staff report and Attachment C development agreement of the staff report. These changes do not materially impact the project details nor the terms of the development agreement, and they have been fully reviewed and agreed to by the applicant prior to this meeting. Consistent with the negative declaration prepared for the policy in 2019, the 2025 addendum found that the project included in round 1.5 would not create new environmental impacts and therefore does not require new mitigation measures. The 2019 negative declaration and 2025 addendum are included as attachments H and I, respectively, of the staff report. To conclude, staff recommends that the City Council adopt the ordinance and resolution to approve the requested development agreement and creative billboard permits to construct the project located at 9039 Sunset Boulevard. And with that, staff is available for any questions ahead of the applicant's presentation. Thank you.
Does anyone have questions? Councilmember Meister has questions. And before you get started, is there a representative here from the applicant? Oh, okay, there you are. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So I have a couple of questions. One, the Planning Commission vote was 4-2, and it's rare that there's even two people that vote against a billboard project. So can you tell me what the objection was?
Sure. The two nays, I think, centered around issues concerning the representation of the existing on-site signage that is part of the existing development, the existing building. And there was some confusion as far as whether it warranted inclusion into the development agreement and should be considered part of the project. Again, as it's on-site signage, it wouldn't be subject to the Sunset Arts and Advertising Program and is not included as part of the project.
Okay, so when I went to Google Earth and I saw a photo from up just 6 or 7 months ago, it was September 2025. The wall was a Michelob Ultra Light beer advertisement. So is there something in the CUP that prevents that from happening? And if it does happen, what are the consequences for that?
There's nothing in the CUP that prevents that. And also, as a business that sells alcohol or liquor, including beer and wine, that would be considered on-site signage.
Oh. A Michelob advertisement?
I would just jump in and add, sorry. Yeah, I think that there is not something necessarily in the CUP that would prevent off-site signage on a place that was approved for on-site signage. However, the zoning code does. And so if there's signage that's up on the site that is off-site on something that should be an on-site sign or advertising something that's taking place on that site, then code enforcement could in fact, warn and or cite the property owner for that. We are aware that there is unfortunately images on Street View and Google Earth that have signage that was questionable. If you go back on different years, every other picture is signage that is advertising concert events or other types of live music or events that are happening on the site, which is exactly what that sign is supposed to have on it.
Right.
And so, yeah, we will keep track and try to engage if those signs are inappropriate and let code compliance know so that they can take care of that if it comes up in the future.
So since this involves a development agreement to the city attorney, can something be included in the development agreement to ensure that on-site signage is on-site signage, and if it's not on-site signage, that there are repercussions?
I believe what's in the development agreement now says that the off-site signs that are permitted are only the ones mentioned in the development agreement, which are the larger billboards that are in front of you tonight, and that it has to comply with code, so it is already covered, but as Jennifer mentioned, through the zoning ordinance is how it's being regulated. If you want to specify even further that other signs, cannot do on-site advertising, we could talk about that, but it's not in the agreement that's Right. Been negotiated with the applicant as of this moment.
Okay, so that will be part of our deliberation then. So I read in the staff report that the public realm enhancements were eliminated. What was actually eliminated? What's replacing them? And if nothing is replacing them, did the dollar amount change on what we're getting to accommodate that?
Sorry, Councilmember Meister, are you speaking to the comments from commission on the public realm enhancements, or
There
a
was something from
component
the
that
planning
was
commission that it was decided not to have the public realm enhancements? Or maybe it was the design?
like in between SASE? I mean, to my knowledge, the only change from Planning Commission, or the only commentary Planning Commission had regarding the public realm enhancements was to, again, widen the plaques that are part of the educational component. If there were public realm enhancements that were previously proposed, during the SASE or the
That might
design
have been a
review process.
design issue.
Okay. I believe, personally, I wasn't present for that, but I believe that was probably due to some issues regarding public right-of-way
Right.
improvements and the restrictions, that we have as a city for what those improvements have to look like. And so the majority of the work, again, is being done on the facade itself within the property line.
Right, so I just wonder then, at what point is the negotiation done that the negotiation is based on a design that is presented to SASE, or is the negotiation based on what is seen by the Planning Commission?
In this instance, in all instances, the negotiation would be based on the project post-feedback from SASE.
Okay, so at what the Planning Commission sees?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Are we requiring that the Key Club remain a music venue? Like we
Yes.
have with the Roxy and some others?
Yes, there's a provision on existing use in the development agreement that retains the entertainment use.
Okay, great. Let's see if there was anything else. A question about the recovery payment, the capital expense recovery payment. And this is in general. Why don't we charge interest on that?
I don't have a response to that, unfortunately.
Does someone? City manager?
Well, I'll try to respond. With a project where we're over 30 years getting $90 million, and they're paying that back, it just doesn't seem like we should be, again, renegotiating these kind of deals at the council level. I think the deal overall is an incredible deal for the city. So I understand your desire to get every last penny out of the development, but
It's a question.
I think looking at it globally is probably better than looking at, are we getting interest on money that is going towards the capital improvement that they're making?
Okay, it was a question. Thank you.
Sure.
Of course.
We do have representatives of the applicant here. I want to go back to your suggestion. It sounded like earlier you were suggesting that we might want to add something or have a condition that requires the compliance with our existing sign ordinance for other signs.
So I actually found language in the DA that specifically says in 2.4, no other offsite advertising shall be permitted on the property. So if they were to do on-site advertising that wasn't allowed, I think that would be a violation of your agreement. So I actually think it's covered in there.
It's covered already.
Yeah.
Great.
And Mayor Heilman, if I could interject briefly, in the resolution prepared for the creative billboard permit, between commission and council, we added a condition 1.8 that specifically identifies the existing on-site advertising signage, its location, its reduction as part of the project. So it's not necessarily called out specifically in the development agreement, but it is identified in the resolution as on-site signage and obviously everything that comes with that.
Great. And Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you. In regards to their benefits to the public, typically within this zone, we have our traditional rock and roll, amazing establishments. And when the whiskey and several other of the owners and properties got their development agreement, they had to contribute to the rock walk hall that was going on in that area. That's still under development. If you remember, Nick, it was before your time, sadly. Jennifer, I think you were here, but when they got it, there was money that was set aside to redo the sidewalks with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for that area. This is right in that. Is that in the development agreement, or has that been discussed as a part of the agreement?
No, so I believe what you're referring to is the Legends of Sunset program
yes.
that was included in those DAs. And no, this property owner is not part of that. Doesn't exclude them from potential future, being a part of that, but it's just not a part of this project.
So I guess my question goes back to the city attorney. Is that a condition? I mean, it is going to be a music venue for time immemorial, but is that something that we could condition if the applicant was amenable to it today?
That's something we would have to go back and discuss after the meeting. It would be a different negotiated term that we would have to discuss with the applicant.
Okay.
And I think the other nightclubs are different because they were granted signage rights based on the fact that they were historic music venues. This particular property owner is going through our regular sunset advertising program. So I
Correct.
think that's part of the reason there are differences here.
Correct.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Sunset advertising?
Yes, but we carved out, I don't think they had to go through the same process as everyone else because we carved out the historic nightclubs and granted them rights in exchange for them preserving the nightclub use.
What I think you're referring to is the award was granted through the design process for them to be able to apply to go through this process. That was granted for a certain category for historic resource properties, correct?
Oh, okay, so
but they
it
did
was
once
through
that,
this process.
Once that happened, they had to go through the same
Okay.
process, yes.
All right.
Wasn't the Key Club the Grizaris?
Yeah.
No? Wasn't Grizaris?
I think Gazzari's was at that site, but.
Well, that's what I mean. It
Yeah.
was at that site.
But the Key Club is newer, new build.
Yeah.
All right. We do have representatives of the applicant here. No one else is here to speak on this item, so we have two representatives of the applicant here. You want to come forward, or? Normally, we would give you 5 minutes. I don't know if you need that tonight. Oh, you have a presentation for us. Excellent.
Happy Monday.
There we are. We're pulling up the presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
So hi, everyone. In this portion of the agenda, we'd like to walk through the design concepts of the billboard. Next slide, please. So the presentation is going to highlight, 3 components that position the proposal as a positive addition to, Sunset Boulevard. First, how we address the existing billboard condition. Second, a design language centered around sustainability. And third, the billboard's presence at night. Next slide. So to begin, it's important to understand the existing conditions of the 9039 project. Next slide, please. Currently, the site includes, 2 fully animated marquees that extend beyond the property line, along with a sort of static billboard above the building, with this sort of decorative structural element projecting way outside of the property line in the image here. So as it stands today, the animation technology is actually dated, and the projecting elements disrupt the urban skyline. While the billboards are highly visible, they lack sort of meaningful interaction with the pedestrians at the street. So next slide, please. So if you keep going, please. And then, yeah, next slide. So our proposal introduces a more, I'd say, cohesive approach, creating a continuous design language between the static and the digital billboard, while also, engaging with pedestrians along the Sunset Boulevard. After establishing, this context, the next step focuses on sustainability. The proposal retains, the existing structural framework and introduces a unifying frame that connects both the digital to the static billboard. This approach allows the elements to read as a single, integrated system rather than, sort of separate components. This is extended further through, exterior rated wood-clad facade carrying the design language across the building and introducing a sort of warmer, more contemporary material palette. During the day, the wooden billboard presents itself, next slide please, itself as a quiet yet confident addition to the Sunset billboard, defining, the warm wood tones in a clean white frame. Opportunities for future tenant signage remain integrated into the lower portion of the design. Next slide. At night, the preserved structure is so that was a part of the original billboard, is actually lit at night, reinforcing the connection between the digital and static elements. Together, they read as a single cohesive gesture rather than a series of disconnected moves. Next slide, please. The ground plane, the building facade are visually tied together through, accent elements and material continuity, aligning with existing tenant frontage and paving patterns. If you go to the next slide, please. And there's kind of the beacon at night. And so this is what we were mentioning when we were talking about the sort of public enhancement aspect of it. We can make the billboard, but how do we sort of actually talk to pedestrians and sort of teach them about our sustainability endeavors? So in response to prior feedback, particularly regarding sort of lighting, if you keep going, these are some of the more public enhancements that you're seeing. Next slide, please. So we had feedback in prior rounds in terms of lighting. So we've developed a refined lighting strategy. That proposal sort of incorporates fully dimmable, color adjustable lighting that can respond, to local events and tenant programming and sort of broader activity along Sunset Boulevard. So next slide. Next slide, please. So to conclude, we recognize that the billboards are inherently, energy, intensive, and especially doing the Sunset Strip where digital displays are prevalent. With this proposal, we aim to move toward a more sustainable, forward-thinking approach, one that's, doesn't serve advertising needs, but also, it doesn't just serve advertising needs, but it also engages the public and contributes meaningful information to the urban environment. A key part of the strategy is to reuse the existing structural frame and reduce material waste, reinforcing a more responsible design approach. So next slide. So I'll end it off here with, this is complemented by the introduction of renewable wood cladding, extending the material language across the billboard facade. Finally, I just want to say that, throughout this whole entire process of the project, while I sort of represent Rios as the project designer for this, this has been a more collaborative project along through every round. So what you're seeing is a sort of ultimate sort of thing from that. So I want to thank, the people that were here maybe a few months ago from their feedback. I'm really proud to show what will hopefully come in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. And before you leave the podium, you didn't state your name at the beginning. So
I'm sorry.
Could you do that for the record, please?
Yeah, sorry. My name is Irvin Scheifa.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
And sir, I think we have another minute left. Did you want to add anything?
No.
All right. Thank you. All right, so there are no other speakers. If there are no questions, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and see if we can get to deliberation.
Yeah.
Yes, Councilmember Erickson.
I'll keep it short. I support the project. I think it's really well designed. I really appreciate the oak wood finishes. I agree with what my colleagues were saying regarding the different conditions, but they seem like that was already taken care of. And I really look forward to seeing the revitalization of this area that was or was not Grisati's in that way, as Councilmember Meister said. But it's really great to see that type of entertainment nightlife aspect come about in this club. So congratulations, and I plan on voting for it.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. I really like the project. I'm in full support of it. What gets me is the $90.3 million in revenue share that the city's going to get over 30 years, along with the $318,000 and 1% for the arts programs. The design aesthetic is beautiful compared to what it is now and what it will be, involving natural aesthetics to it, the timber, importing that in. So I think it's a beautiful design, and it's going to elevate that neighborhood and be part of the wider plan to revitalize Sunset Strip. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Byers.
Yeah, I think we're so proud to see a venue where people are there to enjoy themselves, dance, and have fun, be preserved for another generation of use. I know, while it wasn't Keys before, One Oak before that, there's been a lot of different sort of storied venues at that site, and so that we get to maintain that site for the same sort of use moving forward is thrilling. And as it was said, $90 million. I mean, my goodness, this is a real partnership, and we're really grateful. It's a beautiful design. I'll be voting in support of it. Thank you.
Councilmember Meister.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm supportive of this project. I'm really impressed with the design. I love the wood, and I kind of wish that the whiskey had that kind of thoughtfulness in their design, because this really made a difference. So, thank you. I'll be supporting it.
Thank you. I'm also supportive. I think it's a beautiful design. It's much more appealing than the signage that is currently there. So I appreciate all the work that went into this. So I think we are prepared for a vote. Does somebody want to make the motion? Councilmember Byers made the motion to approve the recommendation, and that includes the development agreement. And is there a second? Was there? Oh, there was a second. All right, so we're ready to vote. The rare unanimous vote on a billboard project. Thank you very much. So we'll now continue and move to item E1. D1 was moved to the consent calendar. We don't need a staff report, although staff is here and prepared. We do have one public speaker, Andrew Solomon.
Hi, good evening again. Andrew Solomon. I live in West Hollywood. I wanted to speak in support of the ice rink program and continuing it in West Hollywood Park. It was a real success this last year, and you can see from the staff report that the ticket sales doubled, the number of attendees doubled, the sales tripled, but it also created a real liveliness in West Hollywood Park. I mean, I live there on the weekends. I have a 3-year-old. We're constantly in the playground, but we should be doing something during the holiday season at the park for something that can offset some of it, the cost of it, by a small amount through its ticket sales is exactly the type of thing that we should be pursuing. I don't want to think about it as a business with profits and losses, and we should only do this if our ticket sales match the cost of the program, because we have plenty of amazing recreation department programs which aren't a revenue source for the city. It exists because it provides a service to the city. It provides a service to families. Not to mention, it brings a lot of out-of-towners into our city that then spend money in our bars and our restaurants and become a part of our community. So, and JGLA does a really good job running it. So I'm in full support of the program. Please support it this year and in years to come so it can continue to grow and continue the upward trend that it has. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other public comments? Okay, so let's turn to council discussion. I think the one direction that you need from us is your recommendation is to move it to the basketball courts, and the alternative is to leave it on the grass, which is slightly more expensive. So let me turn to my colleagues to see if they have any questions or any input they want to give.
I'll just happy to jump in. I don't have any questions. I think we went through this in the last time that the project was presented. I'm happy to continue it for the next 2 years, but I don't want to see the basketball courts lost for this. I think it's worth the investment to maintain full use of the park for everybody who enjoys it. And if we're going to be spending money on the ice rink, we shouldn't do it at the expense of the community who uses those courts, not just for basketball, but for all sorts of recreation.
Okay, so that's the second alternative.
Yeah,
I
two.
think that's a Councilmember Erickson.
I'm fine with either, but I understand using all availability at that time, especially public space usage. So I will go with whatever we really want to go up with here. I think that it's good in both locations. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's on the grass, I understand it's more expensive. But if the will of the council up here is to go with the basketball courts, I'm happy to go either way.
Okay. Councilmember Meister.
I wasn't really a big fan for this and didn't vote for it, so I don't think you should consider my opinion because I'm going to be voting no matter which way you go.
We always consider your opinion. All right, Vice Mayor Heng.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I'm in agreement with my colleagues, Council Members Byers and Erickson. I think we should keep it on the grass and not have it impact people in our community that utilize the basketball courts. Thank you.
All right, so it seems like I also agree that it should remain on the grass. I don't want us to have a recreation program displacing another recreation program. And I know that there have been comments about the expense of this, and those are certainly legitimate concerns, but as Mr. Solomon said, there are lots of programs that we put on in the park. The park itself is an amenity for the community. It costs a lot of money for us to have that. We don't charge people for admission. A lot of the recreational programs we have, they're not full cost recovery or they're completely free to the public. So I support this. I like the idea. It was fun, and I'll be out there again this year. Do you need input on the date, or that's something that you're continuing to work on?
The dates are listed in the report, but we'll work with JJLA as we get closer to refining those dates and finalizing with Ice America. But do we have any other questions? I think we're good with dates, location, and the approved allocation of budget.
Great.
And
there was a motion and
my motion, just to clarify, is moving alternative recommendation 2 to keep it on the Great Lawn.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's approved. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that forward. And I see JJLA is here. Thank you for your work on that. We'll now turn to item E2, and we do have one speaker on this. And Andy, are you giving the staff report? What? We so rarely get Andy doing the staff report.
They're always good reports.
Yes, that's intentional. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I'll be brief. The item before you tonight provides an update on the World Pride delegation. World Pride is an event that promotes visibility and awareness of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, and queer issues on an international level. And World Pride includes parades, marches, festivals, and other activities such as a human rights conference. It's typically held every 2 years. This will be the second time that the city is participating in World Pride. Last year's event took place in Washington, D.C., and it was attended by a similar-sized delegation to what we are proposing in this report. This year's event will be held in Amsterdam from July 25th through August 8th. At your meeting on March 16th, the council approved participation in the Amsterdam World Pride Canal Parade, which will take place specifically on Saturday, August 1st 2026. And the council authorized a city delegation of council members and staff to attend World Pride and be reimbursed for necessary business expenses. The purpose of the delegation is to participate in the Canal Parade, bring visibility and awareness to the WeHo Pride brand, and promote the city of West Hollywood as a destination for the LGBTQ+ community. One of the things for your consideration in this item is that it's anticipated that the city delegation will return from Amsterdam on the day of a council meeting, or the day after. So this item includes a recommendation to consider rescheduling the meeting to Monday, August 31st, or canceling the meeting. That's the meeting on August 3rd that I'm referring to. Thank you.
Sorry, we have a meeting currently scheduled on August 3rd, August 17th. So the August 17th meeting would be held, and we would move the second meeting in August to August 31st. We don't have a meeting the first Monday of September because it's Labor Day, and we would have, as we normally do, only one meeting in September.
Right, I think August has 5
It
Mondays.
has 5 Mondays.
So it would be the 3rd and 5th.
Okay. We do have one speaker. Did you have questions first, and then we'll hear from our speaker?
Thank you. My only question was sometimes we cancel our meeting in August too because of lack of items. We usually have a lighter summer schedule, but didn't know if that was in the city clerk's look ahead this year, and if not, totally fine. But I say just to explore both options.
So we do have 2 meetings scheduled for August. We have 1 meeting in July and 1 meeting in September. I think there was a thought to keep both meetings in August, especially with the 5th Monday in the month, just to allow for us to bring items forward. The city manager and I can always discuss if we have a very light second agenda that we could just push those items. But as we've seen in the past, what happens sometimes is that next agenda gets unmanageable.
Great. I just was excellent.
We do have one public speaker, Scott Schmidt, and then we'll turn to council deliberations.
Good evening, Mayor Howman, members of City Council. Scott Schmidt, resident of West Hollywood, Executive Director at Emerald Village of West Hollywood. We look forward to participating and assisting with your presence in Amsterdam. Amsterdam, as you know, has been a historic place for cannabis, and West Hollywood has often been compared to them. But from an experiential and product standpoint, there is no comparison. We're the best. I have had several meetings with different coffee shops, venues, industry leaders. They're excited to welcome West Hollywood, this delegation, meet with you, learn from the success that we're having and how we've avoided having a lot of the negative issues that are often associated with cannabis. As you know, I pay for my own travel when I'm working for Emerald Village. Would intend to do so, and so I hope to be able to be there, and we'll have conversations as I've had with you and with staff regarding our funding past July 1st, so I can be there to be part of this and help you out. Thank you.
Great. Discussion.
It would be my recommendation that we keep the second August meeting, put it to August 31st, and if there is a lighter agenda, maybe decide to push it at that time. But I think certainly holding the place, given how much anticipated work there is ahead, is very important.
Yeah, I'm in full support of that as well, and I support the item.
Okay, so I think there is at least a consensus that we will cancel the meeting of August 3rd, I believe it is, and reschedule a second meeting in August to the 5th Monday, August 31st. And on the substance here, I'm supportive. We did get comments from the community and criticism. I think it is important for us to have a game plan here, and what are we trying to accomplish? Promoting the city generally is a great idea. Promoting it to LGBT tourists is also an important concept, and certainly working with Visit West Hollywood is important as well. But I don't want us to, personally, I don't think it's appropriate for us to be going to this every 2 years unless we have a game plan. And I think our game plan should be to try to bring World Pride to West Hollywood. It's not going to happen under the current administration, won't happen probably for many years because they've already been to the United States and in Washington, D.C. But I think that should be the long-term strategy that we're trying to develop. And that's why this engagement and involvement is so important. Okay. Oh, Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I completely agree with that. It would be great if we could proactively have Visit West Hollywood reach out to a number of the travel and tourism agencies out there. When I went to Paris for the Pride House to do the handoff. Sorry, my brain. It's already 8 o'clock and my brain's tired. I spent 2 full days in interviews with every magazine, travel agency, and everything about tourism for our hotels and for our business and for our nightlife community. And so they arranged all that. They have all those connections. I know Tom Keeley's involved, but I would love for them to be included in that type of programming, as well as I know Scott was really interested in the program around cannabis, as well as the work that he's done. I think that's a great tool. And those meetings can be set up, and I will say sharing that load among those that go would be wonderful for them to talk, and they always love talking to the mayor, hint, hint. So those ways that we can continue to promote that tourism, especially ahead of the Olympics, would be, I think, great as part of your game plan strategy.
So I'm not planning to go, but I guess my question is when you did go to Paris, were we limited to 1 or 2 council members, or anyone could have gone and they just didn't? I can't remember.
You know, anyone could have gone. We didn't really have a set parameter for what it was. I was invited as mayor, but the council, it was mayor and council members on the letter of invitation. I think that people could have gone, but I think it was a really quick turnaround. I would have been totally open with anyone going, for the record, because I was the only one there. Let me tell you, 2 days of interviews on jet lag was not something that was really fun, but it was wonderful with all of them. So I definitely that wasn't a part of that conversation, but I think for all of us to have this right now is why it's important.
Okay. And just also want to talk about Emerald Village, because we did discuss at the meeting where we approved this, that they would be part of the team that goes out there. And I guess what Scott is saying is that his contract is up, or their contract is up before this happens. And so that's kind of not a very solid position to be in to decide to go. So
is that the gift of public funds conversation?
I do have some reservations about paying for travel for persons that are not appointed or elected officials or staff for the city, because you have training obligations and you have reporting obligations. So
I think the issue is really about extending the contract with Emerald Village that we already have by a couple of months, in order so that there is some feeling of certainty that, there's a reason for them to be there. Mm-hmm. So I think, and again, we did say at the last meeting, when we discussed this, that it would be important to have them because of their experience there with the cannabis industry.
Do we know when their contract expires?
I believe July 1st.
So that would be. Sorry, consider that as part of our budget process so I can provide an update.
Okay. I'm just saying there are travel plans that have to be made. So I guess what I'm asking is the council supportive of having the conversations now about extending the contract in order for them to participate in something that you seem to want them to participate in?
I am fully supportive of them participating, and if that's a part of this conversation, I don't know if it's on the agenda piece, so that's what I'm worried about.
I would say, look, they have a contract. they can make those plans, I mean, and their contract will be evaluated and renewed as part of the budget process. That's the clean way to handle it. I think adding it as part of this item at this point, it wouldn't be appropriate.
Yeah, that's not really
Except
on
they're in
our
the
agenda, although I think there is support for them participating. And if you can bring back the contract at a time when we could discuss it and extend it, that would be helpful and give them assurance for their participation.
For them to put in.
The current anticipated timeline is for the contract to come on the May 18th council meeting.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, yeah, that works.
Any chance it could come at the first May meeting?
The May 18th meeting is when you're doing the budget study session, so that's why it's timed with those meetings.
Okay. That still gives plenty of time to make travel arrangements for something that's end of July. Other discussion on this? I am going to participate, but I'm fortunately in a position where I don't have to draw on the city's resources, and I'm going to be traveling anyway, so that frees up some funds for others who may be traveling. Anyone want to make a motion?
Yep, sure.
Okay, there's a motion and a second, and some direction has been given. It's approved. Thank you, everyone. We have, I think, 5 more items. Do people need a break, or should we keep going? Keep going? All right. And if you do need to run to the facilities, we'll stall for you. All right, so our next item is an update on some of our business programs. I see Paulo, Laura.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, Laura Byrie, Director of Economic Development, and I am joined this evening by Paolo Kesperdet, our Business Development Manager, and the other Laura on the team, Laura D'Ambrosia, our Business Development Analyst. Paolo has a brief, very brief, presentation regarding an update on the business retention programs for restaurants that you had requested us to come back and report to you on. There is some direction that is needed at the end of this, and we look forward to that discussion as well. Paolo, I'll let you share.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Council. Paolo Kesperdet, Business Development Manager. As Laura mentioned, we're going to be going over item E3, which is the update on the business retention programs for restaurants. So you'll see 5 recommendations outlined in the staff report. 3 of them are listed on this first slide here, which has received an update to award the 20 waitlist applicants the restaurant grants and 1 approved business with the remainder of the grants for $205,000. Direct staff for the technical assistance programs for $50,000. Oops. Authorize staff to do a second round of the restaurant grant program in the amount of $1.295 million. And we would partner with a third-party agency to administer that program. And then finally, authorizing the Director of Finance to allocate $1.55 million for the overall staff report.
Okay. Are there questions? We do have 2 public speakers.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
Do we know how the first round is going?
Yes, so the applicants have been notified, those that have been awarded, waitlisted, and denied applications. So as part of that program, I think I have a slide on it, so it's officially here as well. So we received 51 applications. 43 of those met the eligibility requirements that we outlined in the report. Of those, we were able to award 22 businesses with 1 partial award grant for the $250,000 that council originally authorized for the program. 20 businesses have been placed on the wait list, so that means that there wasn't any more money in the program. So that's part of the request for tonight's item.
Councilmember Erickson.
Is it possible for us to get a list at a later date of the businesses on the wait list? I was trying to figure out the different, classification of who made the list of the original ones that we're talking to tonight, but I would love to see who's on the wait list in terms of maybe understanding why they were placed on the wait list in that essence.
Yes, certainly. We can provide a more comprehensive report of those that were on the wait list, but they weren't awarded because we didn't have enough money in the program amount, so that's why they're on the wait list. But they were qualified as part of the program itself.
So it was, their applications were processed first come, first serve.
That's correct. Yeah. So based on the eligibility requirements, and then it was first come, first serve. So they had to meet the thresholds, and then whoever kind of submitted first, second, third.
And every application received a timestamp through the online system. And so we were able to see when they applied and when they completed the application, and then that's how they were processed.
Vice Mayor Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the very robust presentation and report. That was very detailed. I was curious as to why, or you don't have to be specific with the name of the business, but why did one decline the grant award?
One declined the award of the grant because we have been told about their willingness to not receive the grant due to a pending closure at this time. So they would like to award another business instead the grant that they were received.
Thank you.
Great.
And Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
the 8 that were not eligible, what were the eligibility issues?
It varied between the 8 applications, but generally it was 1, they weren't a restaurant business or they didn't serve food. 2, they didn't agree to the city's grant agreement for some reason when they checked the no box on there, or they didn't provide the information that we requested. We did give applicants a little more time if we saw the application had the tax return, for example, but it had a password locked on it, and we can't review the application if we don't know the password to the tax documentation.
The other reason some applications were not qualified is that they were not in operation during the time period in which it was required for you to be operating.
Okay.
One more question? Sure. And I just want to confirm that previous awardees are not able to apply if they've been awarded, because you do have this wait list.
Yeah, so the staff, the item before you recommends that we award the waitlist applicants pretty much immediately so we can give them the money before the July 1st deadline. And then we would go into the technical assistance program and then launch the round 2 program with our selected third-party vendor. And then all of those applicants would be then requalified as part of the round 2 process. If they are able to also take the technical assistance course as part of it as well.
Okay. But I'm just saying that if they got $12,500 awarded, they can't come back and do it for this next round.
Sounds like they
basically. Just confirming that that's.
Well, the program would be that we're saying that they could come back for the $12,500 as part of next year's, the 2027 program.
Okay, but not this round.
Not this round,
That's
not the
what
first round.
That's
Sorry.
what I'm saying. That's what
Yes.
I'm asking. Okay, thank you.
And then a quick question for you. For those that are waitlisted, what is the turnaround time to get them? Because the business owner that was waitlisted did send me an email. He CC'd you as well. He was concerned. So if you can share for that business owner.
Yes, certainly. As a government agency, there's some steps that have to get involved. We would issue a revised letter from the department letting them know that their application went from waitlisted to approved, and then we would go in the process of making all of them a vendor in our system so that they can get paid. We would process the contracts, and so depending on how long they take for that, and then issue RFPO, which is our request for payment, or PO payment, purchase order, and then the actual payment document. So that can happen anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, that's a very short turnaround time. Thank you. And this was an item that I brought forward with the mayor, and this was a heavy lift. So I really want to thank your team, your division, for doing this for our business community, because they're suffering right now. And this council heard it, and this council approved the item, and we're helping out our businesses. So I want to thank you all for the tremendous work that you did regarding this. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have 2 public speakers. Our first speaker is Cody Christensen, to be followed by Kyle Brazil.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. I just want to say congrats on such a successful program. I'm a longtime resident and a member of the West Hollywood Business Task Force, so this means a lot to see. Our restaurants are a huge part of what makes West Hollywood feel vibrant, welcoming, and alive, and I'm glad the city is stepping up with more funding and technical assistance in a moment when many are clearly under real financial pressure. The staff report shows a strong demand in this program with more qualified applicants than the original funding could cover. And it also makes clear that direct assistance is what many operators say they need the most right now. But I hope this is not where the conversation ends, because restaurants are not the only small businesses struggling. Our salons, shops, design businesses, and other local storefronts are part of the heart of the city too. If we want to protect business vitality in West Hollywood, then we need to start thinking about how this kind of support can expand into broader small business retention programs. So yes, of course, I support the increase in the budget for our restaurants, and I sincerely hope this meaningful initiative becomes a model for helping more of West Hollywood's small business community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kyle Brazil, and that's our last speaker.
Hi, Kyle Brazil, live in West Hollywood. I'd echo Cody's sentiments. I think this is a great program. The ROI justifies the expenditures. We see this coming back to the community, both in livability and the tax dollars that this creates for the city. I hope I'm preaching to the choir, but I would say that we need to be going even further, right? This is a Band-Aid. This is not a structural solution to the challenges our business community faces. I'd like to see things like Councilmember Hang's initiative that was brought up a few months ago, where we talked about dealing with unpermitted and illegal vendors along Santa Monica Boulevard. I was pleased to see Scoop and Cone was one of the businesses that received one of these grants. They also sell chimney dogs, which are competed against by vendors along Santa Monica Boulevard. So making sure that we set our businesses up to be competitive is another way to be helpful. I'd like to see the City Council and staff explore incentives between landlord and tenant relationships. We need to make sure that we're disincentivizing long-term strategic vacancies along our major corridors, and we need to be identifying ways to support tenant improvements, both for businesses that are opening to fill empty storefronts and for businesses that have been in the community. Think about the reimagination of the La Boheme parking lot to create more revenue-producing capacity, or WeHo Bistro. I'd like to see incentives create more opportunities like that. And finally, tonight, I think we've heard, again, a lot of community concern about SB 79 and redevelopment in our community. And I'd like to talk about development doesn't just apply to housing, it also applies to commercial space. Not only do we have a lack of affordable housing, but we also have a lack of affordable commercial space for our businesses. And so, I heard recently from a developer that was trying to bring paddle courts to Erewhon. That creates walkability, that creates foot traffic along the Santa Monica corridor. I'd like to see us providing waivers to developers that can improve the community for bringing foot traffic to support our local businesses, not just waivers because of state housing laws. So I'd like to see us continue to go further in supporting our business community. Thank you.
Thank you. That's our last public speaker. Council discussion or comments? Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone that came out and spoke. I too thank you staff for this long report, but it was really needed. The ROI is great. I would like to see what we could look at another date post-budget, but I want to be careful with our dollars and so what we're doing there, but this is money that is well spent. And so really appreciate the intention. Hopefully these waitlisted businesses can get off the wait list. As Vice Mayor Hang said, it was really important to see that turnaround time, make sure it's shortened, and how we can continue to do that. So I plan to vote in favor of it.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, there's been a motion and a second. Councilmember
I just wanted
Byers.
to ask what the plan around the technical assistance piece was. It sounds like it won't be staff-led work, but I'd be curious about what we're learning from that process, what the issues that are repeatedly coming up. Public commenters have noted this is sort of a one-off solution, but there's a myriad of ways that we can continue to support business community, and I think hearing directly from them and their experiences will continue to matter. So thank you for putting that critical piece in place.
Right. Any further discussion? I think there's been a motion and a second to approve staff's recommendation, and that is approved. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for your work in implementing this program. We'll now turn to item E4, which is a semi-annual mandatory seismic retrofit program update. I think we all had the opportunity to read the staff report. I don't know that we need an extensive staff presentation. Are there any speakers on this item, Melissa?
No, Mayor, we don't have anyone signed up to speak.
Okay, I think the only reason we didn't put this on consent is that you have two options for us. Option A and B here. Do you want to explain those two options before we make a decision? And I call on Councilmember Byers. Nick.
Good
Ben,
evening, Mayor.
Somebody.
I'm going to ask our staff from Building and Safety. We have Ben Galan, our Building and Safety Manager, Cynthia Zavala, our Principal Plant Tech Engineer. Cynthia's been our manager of this program. I'll ask her to provide a brief overview.
Thank you. Cynthia?
I'll keep this really brief. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. So just with respect to the grant program, brief overview. The California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, Cal-OES, recently notified the city that the grant program must conclude by January 3rd, 2027, with all grant-funded activities completed and required documentation submitted by October 9th of 2026. No further extensions of the grant program will be considered by FEMA, and there is significant uncertainty with regard to 6 of the applications currently under FEMA review. Based on our experience with other projects, FEMA reviews have typically required an extensive amount of time to complete, and despite being submitted in June of 2025, FEMA has not provided a review timeline, and Cal-OES has not received any updates regarding these projects. Due to the existing time constraints, there was a substantial risk that these projects, through no fault of the applicants, will be unable to secure approval, complete construction, and satisfy the closeout deadline. Cal-OES has confirmed that it cannot guarantee FEMA approval timelines, funding availability, or deadline extensions, even if delays are caused at the federal level. So staff is asking City Council to provide direction to proceed with one of the 2 options noted in the recommendation. The first was option 1, to direct staff to notify applicants that grant funding is not guaranteed prior to the October program closeout deadline, and that due to federal review delays, there is a risk that reimbursement may not be received. Applicants may elect to proceed at their own risk. Or option 2, to direct staff to notify applicants that should FEMA approval not be received in sufficient time to complete construction prior to October 9th of 2026, the program closeout deadline, the city will honor the anticipated grant awards using city funds not to exceed a total of $90,000.
Thank you. Councilmember Byers, you had a question or comment?
Just comments to get the conversation started. I'm supportive of extending the grant opportunity through the city. I don't think it's right that applicants for a grant process be notified that they have no funding, especially when there's a huge potential risk of them not fulfilling the project obligations at stake. So just start off there. But there was some more interesting information in the report that I wanted to ask some questions about, if that's okay tonight too. It was regarding the 129 property owners, and I couldn't tell if those were 129 individual properties or 129 individual property owners who only owned 1 property each. It's sort of said 2 different ways. Yeah, the ones who have taken no
that have
action.
taken no action, not with regards
Yeah,
to the grant.
apologies.
They're individual properties.
Individual properties.
Yes.
Okay. So 100, and then so there 129 different property owners at least.
It could be owners. Some may own multiple
So we
projects.
haven't. Okay, that would be interesting. Okay. I mean, I'm very concerned to see that that many properties haven't taken action. I saw and noted the next steps here, but I think there's a concern because this program was put in place to make sure these buildings are safe and secure, and if these property owners are taking no action and the only action left on the city's account is to notify the assessor that that's the case, I want to make sure that we're communicating to the community the rest of the city's obligation in making sure that these properties are managed. So it sounds like the assessor would be able to place some sort of legal citation or notice onto the properties themselves. From that point in time, what would happen from that property owner?
So it gets recorded with the property, and it'll be flagged whenever they want to do a loan or refinance their property or sell the property.
Okay. And so other than that, there'd be no way that the tenants in that building would know that their building owner has taken no action on increasing the safety of that building that they live in?
Yeah, we do have a seismic webpage where it
Okay.
does provide an update of all the actions on all our properties. So we do have that information online.
And because this is a city program that was put in place to proactively address seismic concerns, is there a point in time where we're going to come back to these properties and see if they're still under the same ownership, if they've still taken no action? It's the whole point of making sure that these buildings stay safe is that there are threats and risks to people's livability in them and to the ultimate ability for people to have housing in the city. And 129 properties is not a small group of properties. And maybe it's something that council needs to talk, take a next step and direct action on, if not tonight.
So when Cynthia updates our survey list, she does check the property owner information to make sure it's updated.
Okay, so, and is there an ability for this council to get a list of those property owners to see and understand who these bad actors in our community are who are taking no action on the safety of their buildings?
Yeah, we do have that information.
That'd be great. Okay, thank you.
I have a follow-up question. Are we citing them? I mean, this is an ordinance, it's mandatory. Are we then enforcing using our citation program?
Well, in our ordinance, there's 3 actions we can take. One is imprisonment, which we know we're not going to do. One is
Not yet. I mean.
Well, that's up to the council, of course. There's a $1,000 citation, and the third option is recording it with the assessor's office.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you very much. I share the same concerns as Councilmember Byers. I wanted to see if there is an appetite on the council to see if we have the possibility of even sending notices to the tenants in those buildings to let them know of this information. I'm very much in favor of citations for these owners who themselves are, I think, neglecting the safety of the tenants of their the occupants of the homes that they're providing, as well as what other further action outside of sending Jeff Prang an email and saying, hey, Jeff, could you place a lien on X property at, Harper or something like that. I would also love to see a heat map or a map of where these properties are. I specifically am kind of probably guessing they're mostly on the east side of West Hollywood and higher occupancy areas. If that's the case, that, we're talking there's a lot more other issues that will come up. So that's just information I would like to see specifically and some potential direction. But I'm very concerned about this issue. And I understand the federal aspects of the program and the Trump administration. I actually asked former city manager David Wilson, the city's very in the face of the Trump administration, what is one thing that they could do to us if they wanted to hurt us, right? And they talked specifically about the seismic retrofitting grants and all the federal appropriation funding. That's like the #1 thing that we would have to come up with in our dollars. Now, we're not there yet, just for the public's awareness, but I do think that if whatever we have, most of these buildings have not been reassessed since the passage of probably Prop 13 or other things, and so the landlords probably own the buildings fair and free and clear. And so what other aspects can we place on them to actually to make people safer? And they clearly don't care about the tenants in their buildings, and that's a big problem. And I could only imagine that if they're not seismically retrofitting their buildings, that they're not taking care of the buildings or other issues themselves. So I want to know additionally, with the rent stabilization department, have we had complaints about some of these buildings? I'm guessing there's linkages to all of these things, and we could go down that maze, but for the sake of this purpose, I would like to fine these landlords who have continued to put the safety of their tenants at risk.
I guess I would, and I share the frustration that there are building owners who have taken no action, but I would like to put this in a different perspective, and that is, most of the building owners have taken action and they are moving through the process, and this is not an easy undertaking for a building owner. It is quite expensive for some of them. The kind of plans that have to be developed and approved, building specific plans, are not not cheap to get those plans. So although we offer some grants, the grants don't cover the full cost of the retrofitting, and we also didn't permit the landlords to pass that cost on to the tenants. So I do want to, point out that there are a lot of landlords, a lot of property owners who have complied and have completed the retrofitting already. So I think we should celebrate that. Also, these are buildings that were built and approved either by the county or by the city, and they complied with all of the requirements when they were built. And we've discovered subsequently that there are things that can be done to improve the safety of the buildings, and that's what we're trying to get the property owners to do. I want us to use all the tools we can to make that happen, but I also want to recognize that this is not an easy task, particularly if you're a small landlord and you're not very sophisticated. You may not know where to turn to. We have great staff who have provided resources and information, but I'm sure there are all things that we should be doing to make ourselves safer, but we haven't gotten around to doing it. And we need to give these building owners the incentive to get around to doing this, not only for the building safe, but for the safety of their tenants. Councilmember Byers or Councilmember Meister?
Yeah, I was just going to ask what kind of outreach, besides the usual letter, has there been to those 129 building owners? Because it's possible there are issues that we're unaware of or they're unaware of. It would be nice to know what the issues are.
Well, we've sent periodic notifications other than the notice to comply, I think 2 or 3 times, reminder that there is the ordinance in place, that they're subject to the ordinance. So we've done that.
And we've given them like a phone number to call if they have questions or they're, they have issues that they need to discuss with the city or...
Absolutely. That was included in the letters. We also have a seismic resource page that I always refer everybody to who get calls all the time. I answer them, and they come to me. So yeah, we do have all of that set up.
Yeah, I'm just following up with the mayor that there might be, mom and pop landlords that really don't even have any idea what this is,
Right. Right.
And so I just want to make sure that we try every avenue before we throw them in jail.
It's possible that some of these units are actually, the buildings are actually exempt, and they just haven't done the report to demonstrate that. Rent stabilization has all of the building owners, and I'm assuming their phone numbers, so maybe we need to assign somebody at City Hall to just call these building owners and find out, are you planning on doing anything? Otherwise, we're going to have to go to the next step.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying. I mean, look, we don't need to throw anyone in jail yet, except for one person who I know we all want to throw in jail, but we won't go there. But I want to say specifically, though, that these properties are worth a lot of money, and they don't have the time or the resources to invest in properly maintaining it. I mean, I wasn't even on the council, and I remember, I believe you were just on the council when that whole pass-through conversation was occurring, and I mean, 2016, 2015,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. I mean, and it took time and how we revved it up and continued to do, and then the pandemic, of course, but they have had some ample time, and so I think it's important. It is an expensive investment, but this is something that they should invest in because it only makes their properties safer and then more valuable for them in the end.
Great. Vice Mayor Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm in agreement with you and Councilmember Meister. A lot of these owners are small mom and pop owners where they own one building that may have just 2 to 4 units in it. So that's like their retirement investment. So they may not have the wherewithal or the sophistication to know what's going on. So I think if we can develop an internal mechanism to sort of nudge the 129 owners and just send them more information to do more outreach, phone calls, maybe a visit, I'm not sure. I think it would be helpful because oftentimes they may not know what resources are out there or what's required. Thank you.
It may also be that some of these buildings are very big buildings. I mean, it might be useful for you to kind of break down who are we talking about with these 129. Are they, 2 or 3 unit buildings or 10 unit buildings or buildings with 40 units? That would be useful. Okay. So it sounds like from previous discussion, at least one council member supports option B. 2. I see shaking heads.
I support B.
Somebody want to make a motion? We've given some direction on how to enforce here. There's a motion to approve recommendation B.
Could we get that information, though? I really want to see the data about where these properties are, where they're located. I want to make sure that the direction is including having someone from RSH be a point person for this aspect as well. Is that included in the motion?
It
Or
can
whoever
be
it
anyone,
could be,
but
yeah.
use the data from the rent stabilization department to do another set of direct outreach.
Yeah, I would like personally to see the data of where everything is. Everyone obviously will get the data, but I'm very interested in.
And I think to Councilmember Erickson's thought, I think heat maps will be very helpful because the council and the staff can identify, is it more in mid-city, is it on the east side? So I think having the relevant data would be helpful. Thank you.
All right. We all voted? Great. The motion passed. Thank you, everyone, for your time and your work on this program. We will now move to new business, F1. And I see Diane Kahn-Epstein here. And who else? Tari?
Tari and Becca and Yvonne.
Becca, thank you. Yeah. And I think there was also some discussion of moving this to consent, but we have some questions. So I don't know that we need a full staff report.
I do think because Measure A dollars are flowing and this is a voter-approved initiative from the ballot, it's a good moment to provide some of that history and education. Voters did approve a major investment in solving our homelessness and affordability. So I think it's a good moment to just pause and reflect and, yeah.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Tari Carter, Human Services Manager. I am joined here by Diane Kahn-Epstein. She's a Strategic Initiatives Supervisor, and Rebecca Lubin. She is a Strategic Initiatives Program Administrator. And we also have Yvonne here to support. Becca and Diane will be presenting. So we'll go through really quickly, share some history of this funding, and then happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Tari. Good evening. My name is Becca Lubin, and I'll briefly go over item F1, which is the expansion of the West Hollywood Homelessness Prevention and Renter Protection Programming. Tonight's item recommends accepting $631,000 in new county Measure A funding from the Los Angeles County Affordable Housing Solutions Agency, LACASA, and administered through the Westside Cities Council of Governments to expand our existing renter protection and homelessness prevention efforts. These funds are ongoing and must be used for rental assistance and homelessness prevention, with at least 40% dedicated to emergency rental assistance. Staff is proposing a two-phased approach to both meet immediate needs and thoughtfully plan for longer-term impacts in addressing financial stability in the city. Phase 1 allocates $350,000 to expand our existing rental assistance programs through our nonprofit partners, APLA Health and NCJW. This includes $300,000 in direct client assistance and $50,000 for intake and case management for clients. This approach allows us to immediately deploy funds using existing programming infrastructure and trusted providers. Importantly, it expands eligibility to reach residents with higher rental arrears, individuals who are often at the highest risk of eviction. Households may receive up to $18,000 a year in assistance with the goal of resolving significant rental debt and stabilizing housing. Funds are paid directly to the landlord, and participants receive case management and a housing stability plan along with their rental assistance. This first phase also ensures compliance with La Casa and aligns with the county's priority for timely distribution of funds. Phase 2 of the programming focuses on developing targeted short-term income support programs to address underlying financial instability in the city. This includes $220,000 for direct client assistance and approximately $61,000 to support a consultant-led community engagement and targeted needs assessment process. This work will focus on the housing stability of West Hollywood renters, specifically on populations identified by the City Council and the community, including individuals impacted by the Ellis Act, people who work in West Hollywood, and caregivers of children and older adults. Staff will return to Council with the recommendations for program design of Phase 2 of the program. Overall, this phased approach allows the city to act quickly to prevent evictions while also developing a more tailored, data-driven strategy to support housing stability over the long term. Thank you, and we can answer any questions.
Are there any questions for staff? We do have one speaker, Cody Christensen.
I support this item and the expansion of renter protection and homelessness prevention services through this Measure A funding. This matters deeply to me because homelessness is not abstract in my life, because not long ago I lived it here in West Hollywood and later in the New York City homeless shelters. I know how quickly life can unravel. One emergency, one missed payment, one impossible stretch, and suddenly the ground beneath you is gone. I have also been sober for 10 and a half years, and part of the reason I was able to rebuild my life is because there were programs, services, and people who helped catch me when I was falling, and that changed my life. I appreciate that this item focuses on keeping people housed because prevention matters, rental assistance matters, eviction prevention matters. That kind of help can be the difference between stability and crisis. But West Hollywood is also, it's already doing real work, and that matters. But a lot of it, what happens behind the scenes, and many residents still do not feel like they are seeing enough visible change on the street. And this work, as this work moves forward, I hope we also focus more attention on the people who are already living outside. They matter too. One thing I hope Phase 2 seriously considers is a more visible outreach team, one that residents can actually see engaging with unhoused people, building trust, offering services, and helping move people towards stability and housing. What helped me the most was structure and people who kept showing up. I hope we keep building on prevention while also creating more visible ways to help people come in from the street. I support this item, and I hope it is part of a larger effort to both keep people housed and help bring people home.
Thank you. Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you. And just to clarify the record, our teams are out on the streets engaging with homeless people 24/7 pretty much. And they mostly take place during the wee morning hours, I know a lot, in the evenings, but they're out there all day long.
Correct.
And they are wearing the WeHo Care shirts that are blue, if I'm not mistaken, right?
And HIA as well.
Yeah. Okay, great. And I say that just so maybe if Cody knows other individuals that might want to go out there and see it more in action, it's always really helpful. But thank you very much. I support this item. And I also believe our council member on the La Casa board is always actively involved and keeps us up to date. So thank you for your service, Councilmember Byers.
Happy to. Yeah, I just wanted to jump in. Since this is a renter protection, homelessness prevention programming, and since the programming dollars are still very new, just so members of the public know, there are a lot of limitations on how these dollars get spent, prescribed by both the state law that enabled La Casa agency to come into formation, but also just Measure A limitations. So staff's done a really incredible job of directing this first large tranche of dollars directly to the organizations we have a lot of trust with and existing programs, which means they will have more dollars coming in the door to get back out to folks who need that emergency stopgap, whether it's short-term income, whether it's the dollars to stay housed currently. Some of that other work that more the services side is invested in through our social services grants process, which took place earlier this year. But we're excited that La Casa is providing resources that were so needed just to keep people housed, make sure people have the ability to pay their rents that continue to rise. And then there's a number of other services that La Casa provides too, including dollars to help build new affordable housing units. One of those projects which was chosen in the city of West Hollywood. So a huge new tranche of public dollars enabled by Measure A, and it's really exciting to see it on the agenda tonight, going back to our most trusted service partners. Thank you all for your good work to make this happen.
Any further discussion? Vice Mayor Hang.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Yes, I am in support of this, and I want to thank Tari and your team for the incredible work that you do. This past weekend, I myself called Allied, I think, 4 or 5 times, of which 3 out of the 4, they dispatched people out to help our unhoused community members, and HIA and also WeHo Cares was dispatched out. I did inform our Director of Public Safety of that. I actually timed and watched Allied. It took them 6 minutes and 33 seconds to be dispatched to La Boheme, and then the unhoused person that was sleeping on the sidewalk was engaged with services. So I want to thank you and your team and our public safety team with Allied and our public safety, community safety division for making that work for our community members. I think this is an important step, $631,000 plus for $350,000 for case management, as well as $61,000 for a consultant to engage with community outreach, which is needed for this program. So I think this is great that we're going to end up investing $220,000 to research to inform the community with the $220,000 for short-term support. So this is great. So I'm in support of this item. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
If I may, there's an education opportunity for La Casa I wanted to uplift on May 22nd. It's a full day summit. Anyone's invited. It's totally free. It's down in Long Beach. Happy to share information with anybody who's interested in attending to learn more about the new agency and its work across the county.
Thank you. So there's a motion and a second. I think we can vote. And it's unanimously approved. Thank you. We'll turn to our last 2 items, F2. This is the e-bike program. Then again, I think there was some talk about moving this to consent, but we do have a number of speakers on this item. Do we need a staff report? I'm hearing no, so why don't we turn to the public speakers? I'm not sure they're all here. Andrew Solomon is here. Brad Kiesler, are you still here? I think Brad left. Helen Krieger, I believe, is here. And then John Hayes. Thank you, Andrew. Go ahead.
Hi, sorry, last one, but speaking in support and favor, but quick story. So I applied for a free bike in 2023. I didn't get one, but a neighbor in my building got a free Schwinn. So I started using it. I started going to Plummer to play pickleball, and I realized that this is kind of a great lifestyle. Fast forward 2 years, I've sold my car. I got a cargo e-bike, and I use it pretty exclusively. Preschool drop-offs, going to work, going to the grocery store. I found out recently that 2 other moms in my neighborhood have also gotten a cargo bike for the same reason that I have one. It's a multiplier effect of a free bike that I didn't get in 2023 that has led to thousands of miles not being driven by cars. These are people that aren't circling looking for parking spots, and this is a lot easier preschool drop-offs for everyone that's doing it. 2 things that I would say about the program is that I anticipate that it's going to be highly successful and highly sought after, so I hope that perhaps this summer when you have your budget talks, you can talk about making this a standing program that gets renewed every year. And then the other point that I would make is more to staff, but looking through the framework of how you plan on implementing it, I wouldn't be so restrictive as to apply it just to certain models, especially from Aventon. I mean, there was a model, the level 4 that came out last week that is a perfect commuter bike that's great for this program. They just release new models every 3 or 4 months. So I hope that there's flexibility as you administer the program, that bikes that work for what we're looking for can be eligible for this. But you know, all systems go on this, and I hope that as we move forward, you find the funding to make it a standing program. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew. Helen Krieger to be followed by John Hayes, and that's our last speaker.
Hi, Council. I'm a commission member, but I'm speaking right now as a resident and as a user of an e-bike. I have a Class 1 pedal assist e-bike, and this has enabled me to really cut down a lot of my car trips and even a lot of my bus trips, so that now the majority of my commuting and chores is done by bike. So this has saved me money on gas and car insurance at a time when all those costs are really rising right now. But it's also saved CO2 emissions because transportation is the biggest source of CO2 emissions in California. And so anything that we can do to cut down on that, even a small amount of trips diverted from cars onto e-bikes, will end up saving us a significant amount of local pollution. But also I wanted to just bring up how important and useful this is for health beyond just air pollution. It's really helped by putting movement into my day, so that now without even trying or adding any extra time to my day, I get an hour of cardio a day just because it slots into where my commute used to be and me looking for parking. So better for me, better for the environment, better for my community. And then studies also show that folks who ride bikes, whether they're e-bikes or what we call acoustic bikes, they stop more often at local stores because the parking is so much easier, and so it has a knock-on effect for our businesses as well. So obviously I'm in favor of this program and of incentivizing more opportunities for folks in West Hollywood to have e-bikes. It's a practical, immediate step that we can take to reduce costs and provide more choices for our residents who choose to participate in it. And I would just add to what Andrew said about the models for staff, just in case. I don't want staff to have to come back to council to get approval for new models if it turns out that a bike shop that signed on has a slightly different model. But yeah, otherwise, love the program.
Thank you. John Hayes, and then there are some citizen position slips.
Hello. Yeah, pretty much what Helen said. And I also had neuropathy because I had chemo, and I'm not young, so having an e-bike makes a big difference. I delivered newspapers when I was a kid, and I've had bikes most of my life, but it makes a big difference to have an e-bike in certain situations, especially when you're going uphill, and there are some uphill-ish areas in this area. Yeah, and also the driving, I'm a driver too. I hate driving, so if I can ride a bike and anything that'll get me to do it, that's fine by me. And it's a way to get exercise, which I think Helen mentioned as well. And yeah, there's a lot of good reasons to have a bike. And the only problem is theft. Thankfully, that hasn't happened to me, but I suggest having at least two bike protection devices in case one gets, two makes it less likely to have a problem in the future. That's all. Thank you,
John. And then there are some citizen position slips.
Yes, we have one citizen position slip in support of staff's recommendation from Peter Spire.
All right. So, Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you so much. Thank you, staff, for your detailed report. This was an item I did within Councilmember John D'Amico many years ago. It's actually how I met several of my friends on the east side that got a bike. And thank you for the work that you've always done to, if a bike was stolen, there were extra. I know that was able to be replaced by someone. So thank you for your extra work going above and beyond. I'm in full support of this. I too would love to see the longer term impacts of not having to come back to this, because every year and seeing if it's possible to see if it could be put on our budget calendar conversation, because I think the rewards really outweigh the different, very few risks, if at all, anything this brings about to our city. Obviously, we always have to be very careful of the gift of public funds, as I look over at our city attorney, who shakes her head every time we talk about that. But I think we've been able to master this program in the sense that it's been effective. There's always going to be criticism. People love writing a negative story about people riding bikes, but I always say you can't be unhappy on a bike. So, and I think many people love that statement as well, as we see it. As someone who also did not use his car all weekend, thank you, Andrew, for having Callie drive me home. So your family drove a car at that point. You did not. But it is something that I think we're seeing more and more, and something I'm actually seeing in my own apartment building. Bike storage and all those other aspects are critical for how we continue to look at this. But I'm fully in support of this and would welcome any type of expansion of the program in the future.
Thank you. Councilmember Byers?
Thank you. Yeah, I noticed that this was being funded this year through the AQMD budget line, so I don't know what it means for that to become a more recurring program, budgetary program line item for us, but I do agree that I would like to see this and just sort of insist now that we continue this program in the years to come. I think it was a smart pivot from the bike giveaway to allowing people to purchase a bike that is right-sized for their experience, including e-bikes as a potential, so I'm really excited for that. We've heard the many benefits of e-bikes, also that you can get to work without sweating, which is really nice for people who are truly trying to use this to change their lifestyle and commuting experience. I noticed in this item, we're gonna use a lottery model, meaning not first come, first serve, but truly a lottery. So that'll be a set timeline that's open. Anybody who applies, only those 50 will get it.
Yes, so our intent is that we would have a defined window and we would be prioritizing those who meet the income eligibility. So if we have more interested applicants that are low to moderate income than we do have vouchers, then we would do lottery. If, let's say, of the 50 vouchers, there are 40 people who meet that criteria, they would receive the vouchers and then the remaining 10 would be from other applicants.
Okay. Earlier tonight, we had another item that instead of doing lottery, went first come, first serve, and then came back to us because there were so many interested people with an updated budget item to just cover that. And so I'm sort of interested in thinking about what it means to say that this is open for a period of time, see how much interest there is, and come back to this council for discussion. The other thing I noticed in the staff report was some discussion at the Transportation Mobility Commission level around many of the items that have been up for discussion from this council or elsewhere, including the lending library idea, which I've been a big proponent of. But in thinking about this, and this is why I pulled this back from just going on to the consent item, was it sounds like there's going to be a call for applications for local bike shop partners to receive and issue these vouchers. I'm curious if in that call for application we can ask for interest in a lending partnership, something that we could set up, maybe a retainer or a fund or a reduced rate for rentals. Because I noticed that there are daily rental options, tremendous opportunity for somebody who wants to experience a different lifestyle, but it's a premium, it's a high rate to do that. It's probably mostly targeted at tourists and folks that are coming in from out of town. But if we could set up a local model for that rental program, I think we would achieve this lending library without having the city have to invest in what we've talked about as sort of an ever-changing fleet of opportunities, and instead create a pathway for somebody to experience an e-bike that may just try to be tested out, figure out what the right size for their family, their hill commute is, whatever it may be. So if we could include that in the call for applications, I think it could achieve what I was hoping to see in that lending library.
Yes, and we have 2 RFPs that would be coming out. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Paige to speak a little bit, especially around the second part, around the programming.
Thank you.
Yes, so the first one, as you mentioned, Councilmember Byers, is for a local bike retailer requirements. We can definitely add interest in a rental component. The second one is around programming, which staff is really excited to implement in this second round for outreach and engagement and really helping us staff some of those events, including bike rides. And we envision this being open to the public. Prior to COVID, I've heard stories that the city organized frequent bike rides for the community, so we're looking forward to hopefully bringing that back through this program.
I saw the word enthusiastically about this, so I was really grateful that, and already a draft program flyer, so thank you all so much for the work and the eagerness to get this rolled out to the community.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for bringing this program, this revised program back. I was reading it, got really excited for it. We're taking cars off the streets, we're getting people outside, and it was actually really fascinating to see what the other cities are doing. Because there's like 4 or 5 cities that have pretty much the same program, but operating it so differently. I know Glendale, like the report indicated that their program was the cleanest run, right? They just cut a check out to the individuals that are participating. But then the other cities like Berkeley and Santa Monica have a different set of programs. So I'm excited to see what staff brings back, and I'm excited to see more people on e-bikes outside. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion. There's a motion to adopt. It's been moved and seconded. And we're waiting for one vote. Councilmember Erickson. It has been approved unanimously. Thank you for your work on this, and I'm sure you'll follow up on the direction that's been given. We have one last item, and that's item F3. And Councilmember Erickson, this is your item. Do you want to give a brief update?
Happy to. I actually wanted to just, through doing some more research and look at this, I wanted to see if this is approved tonight or any other questions my colleagues, of course, have. I wanted to ensure that this could be moved not to a private piece of property, but if it could be used in a gateway aspect for welcome and entrances to our city, but also giving staff the exploratory ability to look at proper usages. Having it on private property is obviously difficult when that property is redeveloped, as with this case, but I do think that we have an opportunity here to create a wonderful gateway signage program, or whatever else staff would come back to us after doing the proper analysis. We additionally, per the memo that was given out, have about $1.81 million in our budget for permanent artwork, and around $800,000 of that has already been allocated around the funding for the Olympics and other opportunities that have been discussed at the council. And so there is room here for this. And as an individual who sent me a message earlier said, this was done, I think, in the first round with wooden planks or wood boards and white paint. And so it could be done easier in that way as well. Now, we're West Hollywood, so we want to make it very pretty, but I'm open to anything to, I think, give general direction to the Arts Commission and art staff to bring back something that we obviously know will be amazing.
Yeah, I didn't want this to go on to consent because, as you noted, the original sign was not very durable, and that was part of the issue with it. I was also thinking that we have this great program with the digital signs, and incorporating this kind of visual into those digital signs might be an opportunity as well. Councilmember Byers, you had oh, Vice Mayor first, thank you. And then we do have a public speaker. Should we go for the public speaker? Okay. Michael Masucci is here. A name from the past.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, councilperson, senior staff, my name is Michael J. Masucci. I conceived and created the original West Hollywood sign for $40, cheap plywood, donated paint, and yes, it was a piece of graffiti. We never asked permission from the landlord. We never got a permit. We put it up. We declared a press conference declaring West Hollywood the video capital of the world. The press came, it got applauded, and the people loved it. And never did the landlord say a word, and never did we get a notice from the sheriff and many local politicians. My recollection, Mr. Mayor, is your tenure was around those years. Many of your colleagues posed in front of that sign, as did numerous tourists and locals. Remember, 40 years ago, so actually a few days ago marked the 40th anniversary of the unveiling of that sign, a time when West Hollywood was heartbroken and grieved at the height of the AIDS pandemic. We said, we poor artists, not blue chip artists, for $40, we're going to make a statement to celebrate, to applaud, to aspirationally realize that art transcends limitations and that we can persevere and that we can triumph. And dare I say, we need to do that today again. Bring it back, guys.
Thank you. Councilmember Byers and then Vice Mayor Hang.
Sure. This is an exciting item. Obviously, there's a lot of passion from the history that it is a part of, and I'm really interested in thinking, I'm glad that you started this with what else is possible, because I'm not sure that we were sitting here tonight asking staff to go to that parking lot and figure out what it means to put that sign back up. But if we're talking about the next generation's West Hollywood sign, where people from all around the world would stop and take a selfie, you know, pose with the sign. We see it happen at Pride in front of the WeHo Pride sign every year. I'm interested. I do think it's a process that the Arts Commission should go through, deciding and designing what this looks like. There are plenty of examples of this across the country. There's, you know, city signs everywhere. I probably have every sign in every city that I've gone to on my phone. And I think doing it in a very West Hollywood way is important. I don't think that this needs to be a Gateways project. I think we have a lot of things happening at the gateways already, but I think there's places that this sign could create tourism, energy, and activation opportunities in our public space that is really valuable and meaningful. So I'm open to exploring what this could look like, not in the way it was written here tonight, but more in the way it was discussed and sort of envisioned for the next chapter, and definitely with the Arts and Cultural Affairs Commission leading the way.
Okay. Vice Mayor Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilmember Erickson, for bringing this item forward. It's really exciting. It's bringing back the past into the present. And this is a chance for us to relive our history, right? As I read this item, I thought to myself, and I know Councilmember Byers just touched on it, I thought if there was a way to not maybe bring back the sign to its original spot, but to find perhaps a different public spot to place a new sign in. And I know Councilmember Byers was against the gateway sign, but I guess in my mind, I was thinking, how do we take this out of the box? And because we don't have a sign at our entrance to our cities to letting people know, welcome to West Hollywood. And if there's a way where we can do that and have some creative ways to bring this sign back to life, I would be in full support of it. But also in its current form, I'm in support of it too. So I want to thank you for bringing this item forward. It's so creative. It's bringing the past back so that we remember, the history of what the city has gone through, especially when that sign was put up, as the gentleman was saying earlier. Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Meister.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just say let's leave all of our options open. And when I was reading it, I at first did not read the address, but I thought, I bet it was over by where the Ramada is. So I'm open to wherever, whatever locations and whatever it comes, I want us to be creative about it. And so going through the arts department, art and culture, that's the way to do it, so.
Okay, so it sounds like there's support to do this, but keeping in mind that we're looking at all options on how to create a sign that brings this sign back to life in some way.
And I just want to thank my colleagues before, and additionally, I completely agree with what you're saying, Councilmember Byers. Like, this is an opportunity to have that enhancement. I mean, how many photos does Joshua and the team go through at the WeHo Pride thing with all that we have? So thank you very much, and I'm really looking forward, and thank you, Michael, for your comments tonight.
And for the history you began in our city.
There's a motion and a second, and it is approved. Great.
Jackie's like, where can I get that plywood from for the $40?
We have to go out to bid. It would be considered a public works project. Okay. We do not have any excluded consent calendar items. Melissa has informed me that we have no additional public comment. We'll turn to council member comments and meeting attendance, and then we'll be able to adjourn. Council member Erickson?
Wait, I know you always look to Councilmember Byers.
I'm done. Yeah,
You're done going first. Thank you very much, colleagues. I attended several events, Food Day in WeHo. Congratulations, Councilmember Byers. It was incredible. Incredible day of all the food, all the fun. I found myself going back multiple times because there was always something. And any place that always has a snow cone, you'll find me right there in front. So congratulations. I attended the community mass event in my church at St. Victor's. Thank you to Richard Maggio and Kat Ng and all those that attended. I attended the Beverly Hills installation for the new mayor and vice mayor and outgoing mayor. Contract City's Board of Directors meeting. I also visited the Fountain Day School after issues that came up at the last meeting, and I'm really happy to say that our staff is working diligently to help provide issues for them. And as an update to the community, the parking lot was opened that next week that we got open, so all of the issues there and the temporary basis for pickup and drop off. Thank you to everyone that made sure that happened, as well as the WeHo Bike Coalition bike ride, the annual tree planting, the Aqueduct event, race, and Spring Fest, where for the first time in the last 3 years, I finally won, and Councilmember Byers was a very gracious second place person, and she did beat Clavon for the record. So, big loser, but it was wonderful, and I just have to say thank you to the park staff. It is truly all of the work that they do. Park staff just always excel, and it was really on full display with the mermaids and everything. And being in the pool on a beautiful sunny day is not such a bad way to spend a Saturday. Additionally, the LA Cannabis Networking event, it was really wonderful to see the community come together. A couple of additional comments. I want to congratulate my dear friend Preston Benton on getting elected as a school board member in the Ripon Area School District. Some of you may remember him. He came a part of my school when he came here, and he decided he should run for public office, and he is now the youngest elected member of the Ripon School District in my hometown. I want to congratulate my dear friend Dan Halden on being appointed the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce Chief Operating Officer. They couldn't have found a better person. I also want to wish Jaron, son of Rena, and Jonathan a very happy 3rd birthday. I know they may be watching because they always are. And I too want to support what the mayor said at the beginning of the meeting regarding Anthony Vulin and his husband and their child. What happened was horrific. I would not urge you to watch the video because you're just giving those trolls another like. It was truly horrific. I want to thank Anthony and his husband for reaching out to me, as well as many others on this council, to get help right away. And what is happening on the streets, we always see you see a video camera, you see all that crap, just walk away. Do not go and engage with these trolls. There are people there that, yes, want to make a really sassy social media video of whatever they're going to do. And the video, I did unfortunately watch it, is just these bigot trolls, and Bobby Trendy could not have said it better himself, from Temecula. Like, who drives 100 miles from Temecula, like, to be here? I mean, unless you're gay and want to have fun, but like to troll people, like go to Pomona or someplace like that. Like, go have fun at a gay bar there. Leave our people alone. But Anthony, you have my full support. I'm actually already have calls in to the sheriff and other people as well to try to get these charges dropped. And so, thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Byers.
I'll go second. So my attendance, I attended the West Side Cities Council of Governments meeting, the National League of Cities Transportation and Infrastructure Services Committee meeting, the SCAG Regional Council meeting and Metro Service Council meeting, and then multiple meetings at La Casa, the RPHP committee, the board meeting, and then multiple days of the CEO hiring process, which was really satisfying and exciting to see what the next chapter of that agency will bring under this new leadership. As far as my comments, I wanted to just thank staff and our community partners and all the members of the public who came out for many incredible events over the last couple of weeks. Food Day, as Councilmember Erickson said, in Plummer Park was incredible, really great ode to Climate Week month, Earth Day this week, but just really an incredible partnership of SoCal Veg Fest and the Plant-Based Treaty, and so many folks who are working to make sure our food systems meet our values around climate. The Rainbow Key event, congratulations to all the honorees and to the LGBT Commission for their incredible work bringing that event forward. And then I want to thank everyone for the support with the Human Rights Speaker Series event this week. It was a really powerful program, and I'm grateful to everyone who attended. Big shout out to the recreation team for an incredible Spring Fest. And while I am sad I did not win the rubber duck race, I am happy I went down as the 2-time champion of the cardboard boat race. And I insist the rec team bring that program back. And I also want to shout out, one more special shout out in the rec division, Ray, who should not be listening, but want to make sure he gets his kudos. There's an incredible new program, a playing card academy, and I got to learn how to play Magic the Gathering with a group of people, and it was just such a special moment to see that this program was brought to the city by a member of our recreation division who has a passion for this subject, got to teach this subject, and has a whole vision for how community will be built around Magic the Gathering, tournaments to come, all the things. And now I know how to play the game. So if anyone wants to play Magic with me, I will do that. I want to thank all the public commenters who came out in support of Anthony, David, and the family tonight. It is absolutely terrible to see the way our community is used by right-wing trolls in many facets. We've seen people organize protests and rallies here just to use West Hollywood as a backdrop. We've seen the corner at Santa Monica and San Vicente, occupied by people who the city has no ability to remove, despite such affront to our values here. And I imagine that these sort of trolls will continue to find West Hollywood as a place to exact their mission. And I encourage our community to stay vigilant and safe and protect each other and look out for each other. And I'm hopeful that we as a council will be able to do something in support of his family, or of the family. I also will say happy birthday to Jaron, and then just finally wish everyone a fabulous Earth Day this week. Happy 420 today, and very happy 14-year anniversary to my partner, Austin, who's currently at the bottom of the Grand Canyon and can't hear me in many ways right now. Thanks, everyone, for a great meeting tonight.
Thank you, Councilmember Meister.
Thank you, Mayor. So yes, I also attended the Rainbow Key Awards, which were incredibly well done and a really enjoyable event for the community. I attended the Plummer Park Community Open House and appreciate staff's work there. All of the outreach that's being done is very much appreciated by the community. Annual tree planting event was a lot of fun and over in my neighborhood, my neck of the woods, and also stopped by the social club, LA County Bar Association mixer. And just wanted to reiterate that Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at City Council Chambers, the Strategic Streetscape Symposium this Saturday. And every one of these events that we've had has been really incredible, great speakers and a lot of learning, and people who are interested in land use issues and just how a city grows and changes and deals with climate issues, et cetera. It really is worthwhile to go to this event. And I also wanted to share my feel terrible for Anthony Bullen and his family. I want to share my support. I spoke with him this morning. Anyone who knows Anthony knows what a kind, gentle soul he is. I don't know the rest of his family, but I can't imagine that his family would be any different. And I'm so sorry that something like this could happen to him or any member of our community.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the Responsible Hospitality Institute Sociable City Summit in Nashville with our city delegation. We learned a lot about public safety and how to protect our crown jewel in our city, which is our hospitality and nightlife industry. And I have lots of ideas I'm going to bring them to the council. I attended the Human Rights Speakers Series featuring author Elias Jashan, the author of This Arab is Queer. I want to thank Councilmember Byers for bringing that Human Rights Speaker Series to West Hollywood. And regarding that event, I wanted to thank our staff from our CLA division, along with our event staff, for planning that. It's a heavy lift to do press releases. It's a heavy lift to get people to come show up for the events. And it's a heavy lift to coordinate the speakers to come here. So our staff do a lot of work, and I want to recognize them for doing that. I attended the 2026 annual tree planting event, and I also attended the Sunset Social Club, LA County Bar Association Cannabis mixer. I wanted to thank Faring for working with Fountain Day School to resolve the parking issue. After 23 years of providing a complimentary 15-minute parking window for parents at Fountain Day School, I'm happy to inform the community that Faring and Fountain Day School were able to work together, and they had a positive outcome where Faring is going to continue to allow the parents free use of their parking lot for a 15-minute drop-off and 15-minute pickup in the afternoon. So I want to thank both of those private for-profit enterprises for working together to come to a solution to keep kids safe for pickup and drop-off of the school. And I also want to address the issue with regards to Anthony and David. I'd like to briefly address the recent incident circulating in the media involving a confrontation that escalated into violence. According to reports, what began as a verbal dispute ultimately led to a physical altercation and arrest. And I want to be clear, I strongly denounce all forms of violence as well as hate speech directed at any individual or group. West Hollywood has long stood as a community grounded in inclusion, respect, and safety, values that are especially important to uphold for our LGBTQ+ community. This incident reflects the kind of hostility and division that has no place here, and it is unacceptable. While these moments are difficult, we must face them with resolve and without responding to hate with more hate. These trolls came to our town, they disrupted our way of life. Let's not respond to them by giving them the clicks that they crave for. And Anthony and David, my heart goes out to you and your family. And acts of violence and hateful rhetoric undermine the very fabric of our community and the values that we share. This will not be tolerated here in West Hollywood. Anthony and David, we are here for you. And as we discussed earlier, I welcome with the council and the city attorney if it is appropriate to issue a letter to the district attorney to ask that charges be dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you. I attended the Rainbow Key Awards. I want to thank everyone involved with that. I also attended the annual tree planting event. I too attended the LA County Bar Cannabis Section event at the Sunset Social Club, and I also attended the Human Rights Speaker Series event. And that's it for tonight's meeting. We are now adjourned. Thank you, everyone.